might be live. It's alive. Is it, though? Is it really alive? All right, folks. All right, interwebs. Let's go to Twitch and see who's with me. Who's with me? If it's actually working, too, is the other thing, because I've had to reboot some stuff. Yes. Any moment now, it's going to say, hey, you know what? I'm live. I am live. I'm not chitty chats with magicians right now, so I'm going to change that, aren't I? Definitely. Let's do this, my little creator dashboard. Hello, little creator dashboard. TechBandits. Tuesday. Mayhem. Madness. There we go. We were just chatting. We've gone live. Updated that successfully, didn't I just? Okay, let me do this. Dun, dun, dun. Let me go back to this. I can see what's going on. And I am in the chat, I believe. Oh, looks. I am in the chat now. Very good. Hello? Hello. Hello. All right. Okay, good. That's connected. That's connected. I am just chatting. No one expects the Spanish Inquisition, or do they expect me to start streaming on a Tuesday at 4 o'clock? But that's what I'm doing. Let me let the bandits know. Shall I let the bandits know? Hello, bandits. All right. I'm just going to let them all know that I'm doing this. All right. Make sure I'm not sharing all the wrong things. Yes. Just had a great chat with Gimpy God. He's going to join us, I believe. And then I'm going to talk to Candy Medusa, I think probably next week. I think we're going to have Candy Medusa come in and talk about all them plastics in the ocean. It's not so good. Doesn't sound so good. Hopefully she's got some solutions for us. She better have fixed it. That's all I can say. Let me just get the bandits aware that we're doing this, because it is rather, as always, a little last minute, as I do like to be. As I do like to be. All right. Let's see. Has it been this long since? Oh my God, I haven't sent emails about this stuff for so long. Tech Bandits. Let's have a look. Let's see where I'm at here. All right. I'm just going to have a look here. All right. Banditry time. Probably the one that I'm looking for. Let's have a look. Oh, wow. That is a big list of way too many people. Look at that. I've screwed that up. Isn't this fun watching me? It's like watching an old man. It's like watching an old man try to figure out the interwebs. I can't get this AOL to work. AOL, just for those of you who don't know, was America Online. It's something I was on for a little while. I'll admit it. All right, let's do this. I'm going to paste those in. There's way too many people in this mix. But let me just scroll up and see if I can fix what is amiss with it all. Okay. So, don't need them. Do need that. Don't need them. Don't need him. Don't need that. Don't need that. Don't need that. Oh my gosh. All right. Boy, this list has got pretty bulky over time. There we go. Right, very good. Right. Don't need that. I don't think my father needs to be alerted that I'm streaming. He'll just be gravely disappointed in me. Right. I don't think normally we don't have them involved or them. All right. Let's see what we got here. See if that's going to cover everybody. All right, this should do it. I think this is everybody. Right. Tuesday. Banditry, huh? Let's do a little. Hello all. Found myself free for tech banditry today if you want in. All right. Now, wait a second. Does that mean I'm missing a couple of people here? Wait a second here. Where's my friend Jefferson? There we go. And where's Wolf Pup? Why is Wolf Pup in here? Wolf Pup, there we go. All right. And I am rolling in on this here. Let's see if it's going to let me do this. Okay. Come on in. If any of you want in, and I'm just going to throw in some info. All right, so it's going to be streaming now. All right, and I'm going to just put that in just so they've got it. Copy. Hello, everybody. A hype train already? Good Lord. Audio is super low. Oh, Malventano. Let me change that. I can change that by doing. What can I do? I think I can do this. Is that better? How's that? Is that better? How's that? Is that better now? How's that? What about this? Here we go. What if I go all the way? Oh, look at that. The audio has gone down. All right. If I do. Okay. That's at 80%. How's that? Oh, no. Cody Smith, twisted knees. Ugh. Knees are a cruel joke. How is that for audio for everybody? Me hearing wonderful audio. I guess I could do that. There you go. I can have a better listen if I do this. Keep going, says James Gurney. Keep getting louder. There we go. How's that? I can hear this. That's so weird.
Hello?
Hello. Who have we got?
Hello? Hello.
Wolf Pup and Noodles the Raccoon. How are you? Not good? Ruby K likes the audio now. Okay, good. Why can't I? I'm hearing lots of clicking and keyboards, but I don't hear people.
Hello?
There. Hello. How are you? Is that Noodles the Raccoon?
Hello?
Have I got you, Noodles?
Okay, then.
No audio? Are you not hearing me? Let me see what I can do here. All right, let me do this. All right, I'm going to go here. I'm going to organize it so that it's amazing. All right. Are they not getting it from? Look at that. Huh. That's weird. What's happened there? Has that become unstuck somehow?
Hi?
Hello?
Hello? Wolf Pup?
Hey, sorry. My Discord is being really weird today.
Yeah, I don't think David can hear us right now.
Which
I don't know why.
is so weird.
Oh.
I can hear you.
It's my volume up from 5.
I can hear you. Okay, wait a second. Let me do this.
I have bad and good news.
Uh-oh. Is it bad and good news? Give me the bad news first if there's different news.
All right, I'm going to do this.
Oh yeah, David's deafened.
Anybody hear me now?
Oh, hello!
Hello.
Oh, hello?
I was having so much fun just trying to organize this audio as usual. Mm-hmm. That's good. Hey, Alan's here.
Crab.
David, you're super echoey, man.
I'm super echoey?
Yes?
Like you're on the room mic.
Oh, am I on the room mic? Oh, I am now. Look at that. There you go. How's that?
Oh my gosh, I think my Discord hates me. It's just playing everything out of very loud noise.
Oh, really? Maybe
Also,
it's just
I
me
just-
being really loud.
No, that sounds. Well, it's good. It's like really good mic quality, but just from going from the remake to that, it sounds
Cool facts. I
very
installed
clear.
I installed Fortnite just to be able to talk to my old school friends.
Oh, really? Like as a so
Ooh.
your means of communication is now Fortnite.
I'm opening it back up right now. I want to see if anybody is playing because I don't think they still play Fortnite, but that would be my main way of being able to tell them my Discord.
Baz got back on it again.
Fact: I ate a Kinder Egg.
That is very exciting. But you didn't eat the treat inside, right?
Are you not supposed to?
No, they are not. The plastic part's not edible. I got a few call outs to do. I got to
Really?
say, Crazy Nut DK, thank you very, very much. I got to say thank you to Adakiles. Thank you very much to you. Jack of all nerds. Oh my God, what's going on? Cal, what are you doing subscribing? You hate me. But thank you. And what else we got
She
here?
hates you, but she doesn't hate us.
It's true. Oh my God, Adakiles just gifted. Oh wow, just gifted a sub to James Gurney. Good man, we got to support our scientists. It's important. Thank you very much for that. And boy, Adakiles, I think Adakiles may have passed out on the gifting of tier subs button because there's just being incredibly kind. Thank you very, very much. That's very nice. And Joshua Itali got vaccines today. How great is that?
Oh my God, a vaccine.
Wouldn't vaccines be nice for all of us?
Well, I can't get it.
So Adakiles just gave a whole bunch of subs and then has to leave because they've been on Twitch too much already this week. But thank you very much, Adakiles. That's very kind
Thank you
of you.
so much.
I don't know if they're giving the vaccine out to kids.
You can't get
They're
it.
not. They're testing it on kids, though.
Oh,
I think they started testing them on kids. That's what I heard.
That sounds really bad when you phrase it that way.
Doesn't it? Oh, we've begun our testing on the children. I don't know why they have to have a German accent. That seems somewhat inappropriate, but yeah. Hey, Alan.
Right, that was supposed to be German?
That was terrible, wasn't it? Yeah, great. Everyone's a critic.
My school friend on Fortnite, they gifted me something.
That's very exciting. Almost news. Let me jump in with Alan for a second here. Alan, sir, how are you?
I feel like I'm about to not like the next question that's going to follow in your tone.
Wait, are you nervous? I was
don't
just
know,
going to say, what do you think? What do you think of my non-fungible tokens Tech Bandits idea?
I haven't fully caught up. I just saw your note, but that was the extent of it. I've been following NFTs, but not Tech Bandits NFT.
Well, yeah, I haven't actually done anything. I've just been pontificating about it as always. But
no,
I just thought it'd be kind of fun. So my pitch was this: working with Randy the Magic Man the other day, and I brought out this coin that I have, which is Raymond's Capital coin. So this is a coin that was given to me by a friend of mine, and I just loved it because there's just something really cool about an actual physical coin. You know what I mean? It's got a weight. It's got I don't know. It's something. Maybe it's a nerdy thing or a collector's thing or whatever. And I thought, how cool would it be if we had Tech Bandits coins?
We've talked about this before, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, didn't you run into some of that on Stargate? Didn't some of the military people give you a coin?
I did get coins. They're like challenge coin things. Yes.
Yeah.
And
they do that.
And I collect them. Like well, not that I collect them, but I mean, it's something I would never. I would keep.
Right,
that.
you keep them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought, great, do the same thing for the Tech Bandits. But how do you make it more special than just having like a bunch of these things printed out? And as special as this is, I love that I'm one of a few number of people who got given these from John. But with the Tech Bandits thing, I thought it'd be kind of cool to add a tech element to it. Of what if you also then linked it to an NFT, so that you'd have like a proof of authenticity and uniqueness, and then if you wanted to, there could be other markets for it. I mean, if people went like, "Oh, I want to," let me buy part of your coin or something like that. You could sort of to experiment with, basically.
Well, if you did you would do some limited run of the Tech Bandits physical coins,
right?
And then those would be the ones you pass out to people personally or whatnot. But then if you wanted to, you can have an NFT that goes with each one of those.
Right.
Heck, you might be able to put. Not sure how this would go down, but I don't know if you can customize when you do a run of coins this much. You might have to make it like a little sticker that you would stick on the coin somewhere or something. But
Well,
like you
I've
can
got
have a
little
QR
CNC
code.
I got a little CNC machine, so we could technically.
Oh yeah.
If it's not too intricate a design, you could possibly. I just thought, is there like, could you put like some kind of a hashtag number on it or something, like, or not hashtag,
Well,
a hash number
you
on it or
could
something?
you would just QR code, whatever link to that that
Huh.
NFT, right? You put it on the physical coin, so you'd be like, this is the identifier for this coin, and and it's linked to NFT TechBandits coin number whatever of whatever,
Nice.
right? So then now you've got them kind of like, so now you don't have to like, if you give the coin to a person, you don't want to also have to go, oh, and by the way, let me text you this NFT identifier or whatever, right? You want it to be like part of the
Yeah,
coin.
that's it. I mean,
right?
and you want it to be. You don't want it to just be symbolic. You want it to be. I want it to be the coin, if that makes sense. Right?
Yeah. No, I mean, once the person gets the coin and also gets the NFT that's linked to the coin, like the person could then give the NFT to somebody and still have the coin. So I don't know, it might get a little disjointed.
Yeah, that is interesting. Huh.
Although I don't think people would really be giving out the NFT. Like it would just be like, hey, here's this cool coin, and oh, by the way, there's an NFT,
Right.
that goes along with it. So if somebody wanted to look up who's the holder of this coin, they would see that, out on the NFT space, they would see, oh yeah, it belongs to so and so.
Is there a privacy issue with that?
Well, they would have to like identify themselves with like, it's not like you're going to register, yeah, like, you give coin number 3 to me, and then there's unless I did something, then I'm not linking my name with number 3.
Right. So not necessarily being able to look up, because I know with the hey Noodles, do you understand at all Noodles and Vibe? Do you guys know what we're talking about when we talk about these NFT things?
Sort of.
Sort of.
Well, then you know about as much as everyone else then.
Yeah, it's new stuff.
Yeah, it's really like, this is what's kind of exciting about it, is that it's so new that everyone is still, even the people who've like invented them are still trying to figure it out. But the idea basically is that you can have an unchangeable Bitcoin-like way of establishing ownership of something. So you could say, and it doesn't even have to be a physical thing. I'm adding the physical part of it, but the reality is you could say, okay, I'm going to sell you a TechBandits, virtual token, and this is the proof that you own it, basically. And no one else can have this specific token. And I was thinking about, is there a way we could use this to both play with, so all the I could get all the TechBandits one, and then they could do what they want with it. They could trade them. Maybe they can use them. I don't know. What else could you do with these things, Alan?
People are still figuring that out.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I mean, the artwork one is the one that leaps to mind. I don't know if the bandits have heard about this, but have you heard about this guy who sold, this Beeple, who sold all of sold a collection of art, digital art. So these are just JPEGs, but he sold the sort of the quote unquote ownership of like a number of years worth of art for $69 million American. So that's like, basically you could buy Canada with that. Isn't that wild?
Buy Canada? Time. Can you rephrase that?
So, you could invade Canada.
Invade Canada last time. Didn't last time U.S. try and invade Canada, they lost? Or something?
It depends on which history book you read. If you read it in the States, they'll say they won. If you read it here, we'd say we won.
Okay, fine, but we still burnt down their state buildings. So.
Wait a sec, Noodles, are you fomenting? Is that right? Fomenting tension between our countries?
No.
There was a version of this 3 years ago as well.
Of this virtual thing, or
the NFT thing, the NFT thing, what the heck, crypto kitties.
Yes, the crypto kitties.
That sounds
crypto
familiar.
kitties.
Yeah,
right? That was the same sort of a thing, although how they came to be was different, right? That this, the one they're doing now is a little different. I mean,
and they're entirely virtual. They're basically virtual animations. They're they reminded me of like Tamagotchi or whatever they were called.
Yeah, those were kind of like that. The NFT things are a little different, but it's really just a ledger, and I mean, I don't know. At some point in
Wait, so is an NFT just something for coin on like online currency to just sort of prove it's real?
it's using the blockchain to act as proof of who owns it.
Right. So it's almost like having a certificate that says you are the owner. You know what? It's like a certificate that says you own this house or you own this doll,
right.
or you like even with Beanie Babies, that says this is an official Beanie Baby number, whatever. It's like a digital version of that.
Right. And you know, I think people are doing some stuff with NFTs where it's linked to a thing that's really only a virtual thing. You know, like some JPEG of some image of you know, something, right?
Right.
And they'll just be like, okay, who wants to be the owner of this image?
So the first tweet that was ever sent on Twitter, he's put that on the market and said, if you want to be the owner of this tweet, it doesn't mean you can take it down. It doesn't mean you have any control over it. It means anyone can still copy it, but you, when they look it up, you are the one who owns it.
Right. Yeah. So that can be some of it, but the other piece of it is, yes, it can be an actual physical good, and you know, could eventually make it to the point where people don't have to worry about when you buy a house, at least in the States, when you buy a house, you know, they're always trying to push this title insurance or deed insurance. You know, you got to make sure nobody can lay some claim to your house that you just spent a bunch of money on. And so eventually, if all this stuff moved to blockchain ledgers, then there would really be no dispute anymore, right? You could just go, well, I'm thinking of buying that house. Let me go look up who the owner is.
And, there you go. There's an NFT that says what that is. I mean, the other thing that's interesting about that is that you could oh shoot. Nope, I've lost it. I got distracted. I saw something on the screen and I completely lost it. Squirrel.
Squirrel.
Weird.
It's oh god, the home ownership. Damn it, there was something. Oh right, because it can also have contracts in it, right? So let's say I do an NFT for a TechBandits coin. You could then, built into the NFT is a thing that says whenever this coin gets sold or changes hands in some way, when ownership changes on this coin, I get 1% or whatever of whatever happens to that.
Yeah, that's the smart contract thing. That's part of this whole thing runs on Ethereum.
Right,
on the Ethereum network.
Right.
Which was meant to be a sort of programmable version of a blockchain.
Right.
So in other words, you can add things in, right? Ethereum is not just a matter of people using their GPUs to try to make money.
Right.
There's actual purpose to the blockchain, and people can sort of run things on that blockchain, just like NFTs, right? But you have smart contracts that are also part of how Ether works. So you can sort of, weave that into what you do with NFTs as well, just sort of a feature of how the blockchain works.
Well, I love
which is interesting, right? You can have anytime this is sold, I'm going to take 1%. Things like that could happen. Well,
like an artist, right? If an artist's work becomes more and more valuable, why shouldn't they also? Why should just the person who bought it get the money from it? You know what I mean? Like, so let's say you sell your painting, and let's say you sell 100 of your paintings, and then all of a sudden you become incredibly famous, and those paintings are worth a fortune. With the NFTs, you could say like, okay, well, no, that's great. You've sold my painting, and I take my commission from the painting that you've just sold to someone else.
Yep.
You know what's sort of funny? Well, not funny. Wait. I lost my train of thought. Give me a second, I'll remember it.
See, this is why Noodles the Raccoon and I get along so well, because we're both squirrel.
What?
I have a tech problem of the day.
Oh boy, what do you got, Vibe Pup?
When I play certain games like Watch Dogs, it glitches and makes it so like whenever I scroll on my other monitors also.
Huh.
Scroll on your other monitor.
So you try to scroll in the game, and it scrolls
on my other monitors and in the game, so it like does both.
Oh, sounds like something else is stealing the focus.
That's interesting.
If some other window is active, then it starts taking the input, trying to send it to that other window.
Oh, I remember what I was gonna say.
Could you? Yeah, I would restart it. That's probably what that would probably. I mean, yeah, it sounds like something's got switched over somewhere. What were you gonna say, Noodles?
Okay, so I don't know if I've said this before, but one thing I would really want to do
Mm.
is make some sort of modern art style like thing, right?
Mm.
So make something and then like pay a really popular artist
Mm.
to sign it.
Ha.
And then
So you want to get into forgeries?
no.
So you want
I'm
to
not
get
forging
you want to
it.
get into art fraud?
Okay, but I'm not actually
No,
I'm not
I know.
because the thing is I'm asking them to sign it, right? So
Ha.
so I would say, would you like to be part of this like experiment? You know, you can I want to see like you can get like if this works out, like you can get like half the money or whatever that this sells for, or like most of the money or something,
So,
or
and
like
what do
all
you-
the money, right?
What do you and what do you, what's the purpose of the experiment? You're going to see if someone will
I'm
buy something just because
curious.
it's got a name on it?
Yeah, I'm curious. Well, I know that is true for some things,
Mm.
but for this modern art stuff,
Mm.
like I feel like a lot of this stuff, if I drew this and said in school and said it's how my soul is, this red dot, it just it understands me. They'd give me like I'm almost certain they'd give me a failing grade because they'd say this is you're
You're
we're
full
not.
of it, and we're not buying that.
No,
Right.
they do more like, or either that they'd be like, this is art, not like we're not if I wanted you to do creative writing, I would have told you to do creative writing.
Mm.
So you want to be the next you want to start the next Bitcoin pizza purchase before anybody knows that it was a big deal.
Right. Do you guys know about this?
No.
So way back in the early days of Bitcoin, when it first started, someone like one of the first people to make a purchase with Bitcoin, they talked a pizza delivery guy into taking Bitcoins instead of cash for a pizza, right?
Yep.
Which seems
Yeah,
like
the guy offered. He said, anybody that pays me 10,000 Bitcoin, I will send you 2 pizza pies.
There you go. So he gets Bitcoins, but what happens to the Bitcoin, Vipup?
Pardon?
What happens to the Bitcoin? It goes
Don't know.
crazy. It's now worth what, $70,000 or $70,000 each?
It's like
I thought it
between
was
50 and
worth
50
less
each.
than that. I thought it was.
Maybe he's
Worth-
a time traveler.
Let's
Less?
look it up. No, if that guy was a time traveler, he was a really bad one because all of the transactions are on the Bitcoin ledger. So
Right.
you can actually go back and find that pizza purchase trade.
You can
on the ledger.
find whoever it was who traded what is now the equivalent of probably millions and millions of dollars
Right.
for that pizza.
So you can find that transaction, and I actually, me and a buddy of mine actually went back a few months ago and just kind of like browsing through the blockchain and found that. And the guy who bought the pizza seemed to have had several computers mining Bitcoin.
Huh.
And at that time, you can kind of tell like the pace that they were coming in.
Mm.
But the guy had like, several computers mining Bitcoin. Each one was mining to its own wallet address. And eventually, every once in a while, he would like consolidate those Bitcoin into a single wallet. Right. So you'd see transfers like coming into the one main wallet. And eventually that wallet is the one that bought the pizza.
Right.
That
bought the pizza.
That bought the pizza. But then the guy that sold the pizza for the Bitcoin, like he held on to some of it for like a few months, got rid of it. He had a little bit more of it. He sold it off later on. That guy maybe made like a few $100, maybe $1,000, something like that.
Right.
Because he had just sold it off so quickly. Yeah. Yeah. And if he had kept it, holy crap, $10,000 times, or 10,000 Bitcoin times, whatever Bitcoin is going for today, assuming you held on to it. Right.
So I don't know so just to be clear for the bandits. So basically at the beginning with Bitcoin, everyone's like, well, this doesn't have any value. I don't see any value in this. It's not worth any money. And then as it started getting adopted by more and more people, and there are lots of articles about Bitcoin and is it going to work and is it going to change the way the world is? And so eventually they started becoming more and more valuable. So that guy who bought the pizza for 10,000 Bitcoin, if he just held on to that, even if he just forgotten about it until today, he would have Well, Noodles, you do the math. What is it? 10,000 times whatever the Bitcoin's worth now. That's how much that
55,000.
pizza cost.
Yeah.
One Bitcoin
Oh,
is $55,000.
My brain's.
Oh
What?
my God. $55,000, and he bought the pizza for 10,000 of them. So where's that?
Yeah. And what's funnier is the guy that was mining them with his computers. You can kind of see, like, back then the reward was something like 50 Bitcoin if you got a block.
I remember Leo
Right.
Laporte. That happened. Leo Laporte, I think, or no, was it Leo Laporte or was it
It might have been Leo.
or Steve Gibson? One of the two on my Twit broadcast guys. They literally just let the thing run overnight to experiment with it, and they got 50 Bitcoins, and then they locked themselves out.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think that was Gibson. Yeah.
And then he lost. Then he wiped the hard drive.
Well, yeah. And that's another funny thing, because there were plenty of people that were like, I'll play around with this thing, and they just kind of like let it run. And
right.
I mean, there's some of that even going on today. There were people just kind of doing stuff like, hey, I have a computer, it can do things. I kind of feel bad just letting it sit there doing nothing.
Right.
Let me do something. What can it do? Right. And you had like people doing the like the folding at home.
Yeah.
That stuff, or
Right.
the SETI. Like SETI had this screensaver thing where
extraterrestrial intelligence.
Yep. So you'd have this screensaver running, and it would show you this cool, analysis of any of the, radio frequencies they were receiving, right?
So
you had your computer doing that, right? So Bitcoin was just another one of those things that some people, if they just happened upon it, might have just had their computer doing that for God knows how long, right? And it was going to a wallet, and then they may or may not have even bothered, saving that information, right?
Well, and they're saying that they're saying that a large chunk of Bitcoin is just inaccessible to people because they just don't. They've like lost their passwords, or they've sold the computer, or I think wasn't there like a company that was going through looking at old computers, just trying to like literally just looking at old computers, trying to find hard drives that might have like wallets on them.
There probably is again today, right? I mean, there was I don't know if the guy restarted his effort, but there at one point 3 years ago there was a guy that was like going through landfills, like he was spending like hundreds of thousands of dollars of his own money to try to find the computer, like the hard drive that he had thrown away,
right? Because it's worth that. Because if he can find it, it's actually worth it. Yeah.
Yeah.
God, that's just insane.
I hope he found it.
Yeah, if he found it,
I don't think he did. Yeah, I think it would be a big story if he found it.
Well, and there's companies now that you can pay them to try to hack your wallet. Because a lot of people, again, had these wallets where they put all their Bitcoins that at the time were worth nothing. And then all of a sudden now they're worth like hundreds of thousands of dollars or even millions of dollars. And they're now hiring people to try to crack their wallets because that's the only way in.
And those aren't too hard as long as it was something where it was a tool where the person could have typed in, some password, because there's really not a chance that they're going to be able to just brute force their way into it without any additional information.
Right.
Otherwise, you'd have people stealing people's wallets all over the place, or trying to, right? So that's one of those, eons of time worth of, all the compute power ever.
Right. If you got quantum computers sorted out, there's a possibility, I suppose, but that's about it.
Yeah. If quantum computing gets to enough bits to start to infringe on that, then yes, there's going to need to be some kind of better solution at that point. But for now, right, it doesn't look like anybody's getting in there. But if it was something where you used this tool and it had you type in some password of so many characters,
right,
then at least there is a chance then, right? Because now you're brute forcing us, limited to, alphanumeric, things you could type in on a keyboard, some reasonable length.
All your pets' names, all your
you ask them, what are all these kinds of passwords you used back then? And at least you're limiting the search, and it's reasonable, right? Or it's at least possible. But there's a lot of knowledge you need just to do something like that, right? You need to know, okay, what was that tool back then that was taking, whatever passphrase you came up with, you actually have to have that piece of software to recreate what that thing would have done with the passphrase. Right? Because you can't just without that knowledge, you cannot turn the simple letters and numbers into the much longer hash that it would have, turned it into to make the real thing that's
Of course,
the
you'd need to
private
know
key.
how you'd need to know how they process the password as well as
Yes.
just the password. Wow.
Right, because like the private key is not necessarily just literally the password, right? A private key is a hexadecimal
Right. Yeah.
string,
Yeah.
right?
And they just tried to make that a little easier with passwords, basically.
Right. Yeah. But again, you have to have that know-how, and that's where. So yes, there's going to be people capitalizing on that, people that were around way back when that had all that software, or were security researchers at that time, or
Right.
were following that technology, right? And those are going to be the experts on that stuff.
It's it's really. I mean, I mean, I feel like there's just a frenzy over it right now. I know that there's a sort of funny little aside, or maybe not. Lord Chunky, who's fascinated by this stuff, was about to was going to set his laptop about trying to start mining some Ethereum, but his parents have shut it down. They said nope, no
Is that
mining.
because the laptop was
I don't
or
know.
they just don't want them to deal with the wallet thing or having money?
Yeah,
or...
I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the deal is. I mean, in fact, I'm looking forward to sort of. I think we're going to be seeing them, so I'm hoping I can actually ask him
Didn't
the
he
parental.
say one day that his parents wanted him to earn money and by doing chores and all that?
Like doing real work. Yeah, that maybe that was what it was. Maybe it's more about the idea of like actually earning a living.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, you can see it both ways. It's kind of a good if you're only using a laptop, then it still seems, I would think it's still a reasonable exercise in not necessarily entrepreneurship, but just like understanding like a workflow, or hey, if I do set this thing up to do, because I mean, you're only making like a quarter a day or something, right? Or, or if that, right?
I gotta go. I might be back. I don't know.
You've got to go, and you might be back.
Yeah, I don't know though.
Okay. Well, look, if we see you, fantastic. If not, we'll see you. I think we're thinking about maybe Wednesday for D&D.
Yeah, no, I'll totally be there.
All right, fantastic. If not, we'll do some kind of a game thing. But I've got to check in with Baz and Bag of Chips.
I will probably always be at the D&D.
Yeah.
All right, have a good one, Noodles.
coming.
See if we see you. I should have asked her what. Damn it! I should have asked her if she could do if she's doing any mining on her.
Any mining?
Yeah, because she has an okay. Doesn't she have an okay GPU in that system?
The one that you built?
Yeah.
What was that GPU?
God, I can't remember. Does anyone remember?
A GPU is like the 3090, right?
That was not a 3090
I
in
wish
Noodles'
it was a
computer.
3090. That would be amazing.
If it was a 3090, David would be going right over there, right back over there.
If it was a 3090, it would never have been put in her system, I'm sure.
I mean, is like a GPU, is it a graphics card?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, then would it 1080 do good?
I would.
1080 is decent. Wasn't David? Wasn't that one of like your older? I thought it was like an older GPU that you had. Or no, it was like one of the nicer ones that was in your house, I think, that you put in Noodles' computer.
Right? Yes. There was a nice one that we bought it specifically for her, but let me look it up. I can actually look up what the parts were. I think I got it from New Egg, I believe.
Well, wasn't it like a 1660 or something?
Yeah,
I mean, it was like
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. It was like lower end, but new. Right. So it wasn't like a 10 series card in terms of 2 or 3 year old card. It was new, but it was one of the lower end ones that's new.
It wasn't
which
like
again,
crazy. It was
the fact
there's
still nothing to sneeze at.
No.
Right.
It was. Yeah. It was. God. Let me see. What am I looking for here? Oh, for God's sake! So many.
I forget who made it.
There you go.
I think it was.
Imagine losing the password to your password manager.
Imagine losing the password to your password manager. I live in fear of that.
That would be
live in
bad.
fear of that because I've got one that I can sort of remember, but I tell you, I was on set the other day and I could not remember some lines that I thought I knew pretty darn well the night before. That's all I'm going to say.
David, did you switch over to Authy yet for your 2-factor?
I have Authy on some of my stuff and not on others, just to make it really confusing for me.
Yeah. That must be a nightmare.
Yeah, sometimes it asks for, and then sometimes it asks for Authy. Sometimes it asks for my LastPass. It's a nightmare, Alan.
Yeah.
I keep saying I need an assistant to help with this stuff. All right. Okay, I'm gonna look at my orders and see if I've got there's got to have been, it must be a list of order history. Here we go. Okay, here we go. Dun 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 dun. Let's find out what we got for her. Yeah, so my laptop was on special, and it has an RTX 2070 Super in it.
What?
And the i9. It's got the i9 10th generation.
In a laptop?
Yeah. It
Well-
sounds like an AC. It sounds like an air
Okay.
conditioning unit. It's like
Yeah,
going
yeah,
all the time. I love it though. It's, all right. I'm looking, scrolling, still scrolling. Did I not get the GPU from here? Is it possible the GPU's from somewhere else? Wait.
I don't know.
That recent orders. All right, let's just go for like the whole year. We didn't get it in 2021 though. It would have been last year, wouldn't it?
I think so.
God.
Yeah, because it was right at the beginning of this year when you did the build.
Okay, hang on. Let's just see like this.
So 2070 Super, but in a laptop probably performs more like a 2060.
That's what I'm thinking. It's probably not quite as nice as, I don't see it anymore. You know what? Maybe I got it from Amazon. Let's check Amazon.
Yeah, you might have.
I mean, Amazon's usually more expensive, but
But just as far as that exercise goes, like if you only have one GPU and it's one of the lower end ones, like it's still like a learning experience. It's not so much, I don't think you're going to outpace your allowance, with with
that's
with a regular graphics card in a system, right? So it's more of a learning experience of, oh, hey, I'm just how do I make this mining thing work? Okay, and how do these wallets work?
Yeah, that's fair
right.
enough.
Like these are skills that might be useful later in life, especially if it keeps going the way it is.
Well, I mean, it's not like this does not look like it's going away anytime soon.
Right. Yeah. I mean, who's to say? I mean, the whole thing could come crashing down tomorrow, like it did 3 years ago.
But even then, it crashed, but it came back, right?
Right. And that's the thing. It would have to crash. Like something else would have to replace it.
Here we go. It is a 1660 Super Mini.
Okay.
GTX.
So for mining Ether, sometimes it's beneficial to have the lower end card.
Really?
Yeah, because if you have the super powerful one, like as an example, a 3090, you would think would be the absolute best. It does mine the fastest, but it is not very efficient at doing so.
And why would that be?
Well, for one, the GPU itself, the graphics processor, like the chip in the middle of the card, is not the only thing that's important. Actually, it's not even nearly as important for mining Ethereum. Most of the mining Ethereum is how fast can you access the memory. So you tend to, if you wanted to like tune a graphics card to mine Ethereum better, you would do things like turning up the clock for the memory. A lot of these guys are actually turning down the clock rate of the GPU itself, of the graphics processing chip itself, because they just don't need that thing to go full tilt.
And you're burning more, you're using more energy too, I imagine.
And a graphics card is kind of dumb in those terms. Like it just assumes that, hey, I see activity. The person must be trying to play a game, so it's just going to run the processor as fast as it's set to go, right? Even if if it's not actually doing a bunch of work, it's still going to try to, be all the way ramped up, right? So people will turn that part down because they just don't need to be burning that power as long as it's going fast enough to handle the communication with the memory. And so these lower end cards, they will still talk to their memory at a pretty fast speed, but the processor itself just isn't that fast. Well, it just so happens that lines up perfectly with, you already wanted that, right? You didn't need the super fast processor,
right?
You just need reasonably fast memory. And as long as you have enough memory to handle what's called the DAG, which is like
the chunk of data that it's processing at the time.
It's the chunk of data that has to be present in a graphics card's memory in order for it to mine Ether. And the DAG is somewhere around 5 gigabytes right now. So as long as the card, like, you can't use an older graphics card like an older 1060 GPU that only had 3 gig of memory because at some point, a few years back, the DAG got bigger than 3 gig, and you just can't mine on those cards anymore.
Huh.
So now it's like 4 or 5, somewhere around there. It grows at some steady rate, right? It's not like this exponential thing. You can actually plot out, like, at what point in the future will it cross a certain amount of, size or whatever.
3D Print Viking is saying that they miss their mining rigs. They had 17 GPUs running, mostly 1080 Ti's and some 1070 Ti's. And why did you stop 3D Print Viking?
Probably 2 or 3 years ago.
I'm guessing, yeah.
It just wasn't profitable, or it was minimal. It wasn't worth
undervolting to
the
save
hassle.
Power. Electricity cost has to be factored in to coin earning profit. Yeah, no kidding, Cole Solage.
Yep. So getting back to like why it's not necessarily great to have the newest, fastest, right? A 3090 has 24 gig on it,
right,
of memory. You don't need, to run the 24 gig and to overclock it to a higher frequency to try to make the Ethereum mining go faster. You can't just overclock part of it. You got to overclock. It's all or nothing, right? Well, if you only need 5 gigabytes of space and you're trying to run 24 gigabytes of RAM at a very high clock rate, you're just consuming a bunch of power on the card.
That's not actually being used.
It's not doing anything, right? Actually, what's funny is that, those cards can consume like, 300, 350, sometimes 400 watts at their maximums, right? You can turn the GPU, the processor, way down, but the funny thing is, on the 3090, if you try to overclock the memory, you go and look at the stats of everything. Just talking to the memory and driving the memory at those higher clocks and everything that you would need is taking half of the power of the card.
Jesus.
Like, you're consuming 150 watts of power just to talk to RAM.
Fast enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
So these rigs that are being made, are they all tuned, and are they using existing cards, or are they cards that have been modified in some way? Then is there
no? You would go with the more efficient, like the cards just make more sense. So 3090 just doesn't make sense.
Right.
And also, to put that into perspective, the 3090 mines at somewhere around I don't know if you've followed all this mega hash stuff, like just the rate at which you can do hashing. Math, no. Right? It's the kind of math that you have to do in order to be able to mine, right?
Right.
So the 3090 does somewhere around 120 mega hashes per second. So it's million hashing operations per second.
Right.
120 on a 3090. A 3080 does 100. So a 3080 is a card that should cost a half to a third what a 3090 costs.
Right.
But it's only like 20% slower than that card. Right. So you really are into the diminishing returns if you try to, if you think like, oh, I'm just going to get the biggest, baddest. Right. Well, it's not necessary. If you're using it for that other thing, it's not necessarily the best you could get.
And what about what about AMD's, like AMD's cards? Do they make a difference?
Yeah. Especially some of their cards have this thing called host. Was it host memory bus? HMB, I might be messing up the acronym, but
heaven forbid you mess up your acronyms.
Well, sorry, but they'll have the memory like right next to the graphics processor, and by right next to it, I mean it's like the heatsink covers both at the same time.
Right.
It's almost looks like it's part of the die. Right.
So the memory speeds are going to be faster.
Yeah, since it's so close. Then yes, those memory speeds are even faster, and so those cards, will usually do pretty well if they're cards like that, or just AMD cards in general they're pretty decent.
Well, so okay, so let's say a nerd like me was like, I got this old system kicking around. Do you need the entire system, or is it better to buy like some kind of a mining rig?
I mean, if you want to start going crazy and have multiple graphics cards in the system at the same time, or you're trying to scale up, then it's not really practical to try to do that in just your regular like desktop system sitting next to your desk, right? For that, whatever's in there, if you just wanted to poke around with it and just mine have it mining when you weren't doing anything else, maybe helping heat your house.
It's certainly, I could tell you, I could use some heat down here. It's freaking freezing. No matter how warm it gets outside, for some reason my basement's still freezing. So I wouldn't mind like a little, although I don't want the fans going the whole time. That'd drive me freaking crazy.
Well, remember, depending on what the card is, usually you're turning down the processor. So it's yes, it's using extra power, but it's not necessarily using so much power that the fans have to run at full speed and things like that. Right? It depends on the card.
Right.
But at least it would be adding some more heat to the room if it was just a basement and that kind of thing.
I definitely feel it. No, it's amazing. Like I notice it even when I've got the piece of trash Mac going, that it gets I get a bit of heat out of that too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're encoding video or something, like that thing's going to put out some heat.
Oh my God, I feel on the Mac if it's doing anything, it's easy putting out heat. Although I tell you, the laptop is just like it is throwing out heat from moment one, because it's got the i9 and the 2070 Super in it. It's like it's all heatsink and fans.
Well, that and it's all super compact.
You make money from ads, and you keep watching ads supporting you. Would that actually make profit?
No, they've got. It's funny because people you actually first off you sign something that says you won't do that. And then the other thing, so you could be nailed if you do. And also, I think they have ways of figuring out. Like if I suppose there's probably a way of doing it in that you could pretend to be numerous different people and numerous different IP addresses. Actually, that's something else Alan would probably know. Could you spoof like a number of IP addresses and make it look like your different people are hitting your sites?
I mean, you could, but you'd have to like scale it so high. Like if you think about how advertising works,
more to screw them over than it would to just.
Right. Yeah. Because like it's only like it's what pennies that you're getting from each individual person. Like the whole point of the, it's that because you're effectively scaling up by a bunch of people watching your video.
What would make more sense probably, VibePup, would be to spend the money on fake viewers, not to get the numbers, but so you could then go to a sponsor and say, hey, sponsor me. I've got like 10,000 followers or whatever, right? Because then you could get the money out of the sponsors for that, as opposed, not that I'm teaching, not that this is the school of how to rip people off or anything, but I just
that
think
was a thing.
More efficient.
That was a thing back during like the Dig days. Remember Dig?
Yeah.
And so someone would post an article, and there'd be a bunch of upvotes or downvotes of people that dug it or didn't or whatever, right? And the same one for Slashdot back in the day.
Oh well, this is. I mean, the number of companies whose names I won't mention, who are like film and TV companies, who are padding their numbers on YouTube. Are like you see these massive, like 100 and something thousand views in the first day and one comment. And you're like, nah, I don't think so.
And that goes all the way back to Dig and Slashdot, like way back when you had, there were actual, like people were, if you went into the right dark corner of the internet, you would find someone that would be willing to sell you, 20,000 up or down votes on whatever you wanted.
Well, that was
at the time.
I was asked at an audition once. I went to an audition. They said, how many Twitter followers do you have? And I said, how many do you want me to have? And they're like, no, seriously. And I'm like, no, I'm serious. Like, you tell me how many you want me to have. What's going to make a difference? I will come back in an hour and I'll have them. And they're like, well, I'm like, dude, if you're going to ask me what if you're going to deal with numbers, then you got to know the reality of it. Like, I was like, literally, if you want me to have 1 million followers, it's probably, you could probably buy it for like, I don't know, $1,000 or something. I mean, like,
it probably,
I mean, so, and I was literally thinking of doing it because I was like, you know what, if that's really what their metric is and they're too stupid to know what that means, if that's going to get me work, then I'm totally fine with doing that. But I looked into it and I was like, you know what, but except that, what happens when someone figures out how to figure out if they're fake? If you can figure out who's fake and who's not, then you're just going to look like a bit of an idiot when they go, look who bought followers. I'll be like, hi. You know what I mean?
I mean, Twitter does that over time. Like they purge accounts and things like that.
Yeah. I mean, I get number drops all the time. I did one of those like ones where they actually, you could look and see, like roughly what they thought were like valid accounts and which ones weren't. And still a huge, large chunk of mine were fake.
Well, and that's what's funny too. Like so the people that are running the fake accounts will go and follow other people to try to make those accounts seem more legitimate, right? Mm-hmm. So it's not that you were running around trying to boost your numbers and hiring whatever these
Yeah.
whoever these people are, right? But like, you effectively get caught in the crossfire, right?
I mean,
Because
yeah.
you're losing followers. I bet you've lost some followers that were fake, but they weren't fake because someone paid them to follow you. They were just trying to blend in.
No, absolutely. And there's
Right.
lots of these fake accounts that are just there to try to, I think to sway and to advertise and all that kind of stuff. I mean, I wondered about purging. I know that like Father Ballester goes through and purges his every so often, I think. But I was just like, you know what, I'm not going to do that I'm not going to do that for risk of like, I don't want, like, if Twitter's getting me work, if people go like, oh, let's hire that guy because he's actually got a following, I'm not going to throw that away. I'm fine I will live the lie if I need to long enough. But I'm not going to actively pursue it myself because I just feel like that's, whatever.
But it's also I think that's pretty smart to shoot a hole in their own argument by saying, how many do you want me to have?
Well, I remember this from from Internet 1.0 days where everyone's like, "Oh my God, the Blair Witch website just got 1 million hits," and I was like, "1 million hits?" I said, "Again, give me 5 minutes, I'll go get 1 million hits. I'll put like 1 million pixels on a page, and someone gets." But they were throwing these numbers around that didn't mean anything. Again, I find it so frustrating because I didn't think of it. Probably more than anything else. So what else is up? You got any fun new SSD information for us or anything? Any cool?
I can neither confirm nor deny.
Very good. Okay. Any exciting tech that you've discovered recently that you might be interested in that has nothing to do with your work?
Oh,
Are there
I don't
any
know.
things you've seen? I mean, you sent me this. Alan sent me this really cool little toy that's apparently a
the iris
tool.
thing.
Yeah. That I guess as the MythBusters guy was playing with it.
Yeah. Adam Savage was playing around with it. I saw it in a different ad, and
I saw it on Instagram because Instagram is the place that I will sell me anything.
They're doing a bunch of advertisement like lately for it, which is odd because like I had already known about it, and then all of a sudden there was this huge wave of everywhere I looked.
What's it called?
Was an
I'll
ad for
put in
this
the
thing.
link so people know what the hell I'm talking about.
It's just the iris, I think.
The iris. I like it because it's also got it's got a bit of a Stargate thing to it as well.
Oh, exactly.
Isn't it for woodworking or cabinet?
It's just for drawing. It's just for drawing. Like you're drawing and you just want to make a circle of a certain size. So you just, it's just an aperture.
Yeah,
that's
I mean,
adjustable,
it's just,
right?
It's like if you're okay to spend like a couple $100 on making that circle as opposed to just drawing a circle.
True, but it's also like a desk trinket,
beautiful.
Right? It's got a little stand. You put it on your desk.
It's gorgeous. I wonder if I can actually just show you this. I think if I switch to this other camera, wait a second. I can do this. I've got the technology. Look at this.
Oh boy.
So there you go. So it's this thing, which is just.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's just gorgeous. So there's Adam Savage playing with it over there. But it's. Is it heavy? I mean, do you own one of these yet?
I've ordered a couple. They haven't showed up.
Wow. Everything seems to be kind of slow right now.
Yeah.
The whole shipping thing. I mean, I've been waiting for a box of Magic the Gathering cards for almost a day now.
Almost a day.
So
you're waiting for your Amazon drone to drop it off in your
Where's
front
my
yard?
damn Amazon drone? I'm telling you, that's something to invest in right there. People should be investing in helipads.
Little mini
helipad service.
Well,
because they're going to have to land these drones somewhere, right? And there's not a lot of places for them, right?
David, drones are not very big.
Yeah, but not many. But in the city, I mean,
you can land them anywhere. You can have a little thing, like a little shelf sitting outside of a window.
I suppose, but
just
it takes out the cat.
Well, yeah.
I just thought maybe for the larger ones, there might be like a way of like having sort of like just helipads where they could drop they can make their drop offs and they can go pick things up and stuff. But I may be overcomplicating it a little bit.
At the rate things are going, you're going to be walking down the street and Amazon's just going to track your phone and the drone's going to bring the thing right to you while you're on your way to the deli or whatever.
Yeah. Why would you go to the deli? Look, this is the next thing. It's funny. We were talking about this with Gimpy God this afternoon. I had a great chat with Gimpy God, by the way, and who is invited, by the way, is basically like you, has an open invitation to join us whenever he wants. But what do you letter? Are you? Is that? Oh no, it's an old message. Never mind. Sorry. And I was saying, like, all this technology, we're struggling to try to replace. we're trying to stick things onto our eyes and stick things in our ears and recreate the sensation of feeling and stuff. And I was like, when are we going to just give up on this and just start hacking the electrochemical process in our brains to do this? Because it just seems so clumsy to be strapping things to our head when we could just work out how to create, both. We could, because
there's already companies working on this. Like, heck, one of Elon Musk's companies is working on it, right? Absolutely. Of course, right? Of course, Elon Musk is working on that,
because that's who I want boring holes into my brain. But
he's good at boring. He's got another company just for that. So
that's right. That's right. It's true. This is just like a tiny boring company. But I just think that I don't see anything being more efficient than just creating than basically hijacking that connection to the brain, because the brain is just creating the simulation of everything around us anyways, right? I mean, it's all just signal processing. So if we can hack that signal, then it will be truly indistinguishable from reality, because
it'll happen.
Yeah.
It'll eventually. It's just a matter of time, right? Is it going to happen within our lifetime or no?
I would really like it to happen in my lifetime.
So that eventually one day David Hewlett will just be a brain in a jar somewhere.
That's always been my goal. That's Gimpy God.
Plugged into the Matrix.
We were talking about this. Like, how great would it be just to be and think about how little resources we would use.
That's true.
And you would simulate movement. Even in the implanted pigs that Elon Musk was experimenting on, you could get feedback on where their positions of their limbs were. Did you see that?
Yeah. No, I saw it.
Yeah. So if we can then take that information, it will trick you into thinking you've moved your limbs the way you were supposed to have moved them, but there would be no physical activity, right?
I mean, David, why are we going through all this hassle with these VR headsets?
That's what I'm saying. But that's literally what I'm saying. Forget motion sickness. I want true reality. So that's it. So we just all have to become brain surgeons as well as, game programmers.
Yeah. David wants to be a brain in a jar inside of a Melp.
Vibe Pup. Can you get on that?
Not a brain in a jar. Like, I would want to be something like an electronic human.
Yeah. Well, would you not? But basically, if you were just a brain connected to some kind of a system that could recreate any world that you want, would you not be that? You could be that.
I would want that, but I would want it like on my deathbed.
Only on your deathbed. So you want to be able to run around and do stuff in real life before that.
And then when I'm dying, then I'd want to be able to do anything, but not be able to do anything.
So it's like that show, like you'd be creating like a digital heaven. Like, right? So without all the religion and all that stuff, you could just have a digital heaven that you get connected to as you are passing, as they would say. I never liked the term passing. It always sounded sort of biological somehow. I mean, I know it is biological, but it sounds more like something you would do in a bathroom than something you do to end a life, if that makes sense. But the idea that we could, that's kind of neat though, Vibe Pup, that you would create a digital heaven, basically, right?
Yeah, it's because, like, I wouldn't want to be able to, like, I'd want to be able to live my life. I'm done with it. I'm done with my life. I can move on to the next.
Right. And the next could be whatever you want.
I don't want to see what happens after death, because what if it's just void?
There's a whole TV series about this.
Yeah, what is it called? It's called like Upload or something, isn't it?
I think so.
It's a neat concept. I watched the first episode and I was like, meh.
I did the same exact thing.
Yeah, it's such a great concept. Cool. It's such a great concept, but I feel like they just don't know what to do with it. Like, they're like, oh, look, they look like Minecraft figures. I'm like, really? That's all you got?
Yeah.
Because as a concept, I mean, look, someone asked me a question. I can't remember if it was today or yesterday or one of my burn alerts. Imperador, the master of questions, said, what do you think about? Do you think we could be living in a simulation? I was like, we are living in a simulation. Like, we know that for sure. What is happening around us is all a construct of our brains, right? Like, we don't see the world the way the world is. We're just seeing the world the way our brain is processing it. So, and what we see, a lot of it's being filled in by our brains anyways. Like, it's not even there. It's just like, it's what they, I mean, yes, it's there, but it's our brain's version of what's there.
Including the 2 missing dots where your optic nerves come in the back of your eyeballs.
There you go. Exactly. So there's peripheral stuff, there's dots, there's the whole, there's, the one that blows me away over and over again, and ViPup, you'll like this one. The fact that light travels faster than sound, but we don't notice the difference. Admittedly, we could say, well, it's because it's really fast. Or you could realize that your brain takes longer to process sight than it does audio stuff. So it's slowing stuff down. We're already behind the curve because we're seeing things that have already happened. Does that make sense, ViPup?
Duh.
Oh my gosh,
Yes.
I blew ViPup's brain.
Duh.
Reset the circuit breaker.
But you know what I mean, ViPup? Like, it's the processing taken by the brain to show you what your eyes are seeing is so much more complicated than just hearing something. It's the reason why in races, they don't flash a light. You'd think, okay, everyone wants to start at the same time. We flash a light. That is much faster than the sound of a gun, except that it takes so long for our brains to process that flash of light that the people who are triggered by a sound would be moving faster than you.
But wouldn't a sound of a gun, wouldn't that make you want to do it faster? Because it's a gun. That's like a wired thing in your brain.
But that's interesting, though. Do you think it's wired that way because our brains know that it's much more immediate, if that makes sense?
Yeah, like a flash of light, it's just like, oh, what is this?
Sorry, I don't mean more immediate. That it's less immediate, but it's more important to you, if that makes sense. Like, sound is going to be more likely to warn you of impending danger than visual stuff, right? Does that work?
Yes.
I'm not sure if that's even right. I'm not sure if I've got my head around that. But I just think I'm sort of blown away by the concept that our brain has to, like a GPU, the faster the GPU, the faster it can process, it can create images for you, right? Our brain has to create those images, right? I mean, it's taking information, all these lights and darks and all the little rods and stuff in our eyes that have to translate the light that's hitting it into an image, and then understand what that image is, and then understand how it's moving, all that stuff. It takes so long that we're always behind what's happening in the world. Like, if you think about it, when you clap your hands, there is a difference in time between the sound the time that takes for that sound to get to your ears and for your eyes to see that. So there's a way of, our system has slowed us down so that it all looks like it's happening at the same time, which is just wild to me.
This is hurting my brain.
I know, isn't it? And I find myself walking the dog, walking around, and I'll literally stop sometimes and just like stand there and go like, none of this is real. Like, you know what I mean? Where you're going like, this is too weird, you know? It's actually, it's a bit like looking over a really steep cliff, and you go like, there's something there and it's kind of scary, but sorry.
So you're basically saying life is lagging. It's lagging.
It is lagging. There's a severe lag because our brain is taking time to process stuff. And also, it's not even real anyways. Like, it's out there. Yeah, that's right.
How do I get a better SSD, though?
But how do you get a better SSD? Nice segue, ViPup.
I don't know. Do I need to dig through a box on my desk?
What kind of SSD? Yeah, it's true. Just out of curiosity, within reach of you now, rough numbers, how many SSDs are available to you? ViPup,
that
prepare
many?
to have your brain blown again.
I mean, that many? I'll just jiggle in the box.
I only have 2. My dad got most of mine, but I only got 2.
Right. And are you talking about M1 ones, or are you talking about like actual?
That's a box of M.2s.
I don't know what it's called, but my dad got most of my PC. Like, he got all the parts and all that.
Right. Dads are good.
And then I got the SSDs.
Right.
Because, like, I'm getting some of the extra stuff. I'm getting the hand-me-downs.
Right. So do you can sort of soup up stuff every so often? Do you do
Every
that?
time I get more than anytime I have money, which is kind of rare.
Right.
'cause-
Well, remember, you don't need everything on the SSD.
So you've got 2 SSDs. How do you have your files arranged on that, Vipa? Or is it just random?
In my C, it's not clean. Most people try to have that as their most, like to
the
have
operating
most
system?
of their.
Well, let's ask.
Yeah.
So, Alan, how would you arrange it? You've got 2 SSDs. How would you arrange stuff?
What size are the two?
Let's see. Open
Well, we're in
file.
the weeds now. We're in the thicket. We're in the thicket of tech. This
Yeah,
is
how big is your
truly
C drive,
tech.
and then how big is your other one?
So my C drive is my SSD, and that is 110 gigabytes. Holy, that's no. And then
Okay.
the
Yeah.
other one is 465 gigabytes.
And that is a
All
hard
right, so
drive, or is it an SSD?
That's an SSD, and
That's
then my hard
yeah.
drive I should probably delete some stuff off of it because it is at 900. It is there's only 100. There's only 200 gigs free of 1,000.
So you have a 128, a 500. If I'm interpreting your reported numbers, translating to what the actual numbers are.
Description, yeah.
Well, yeah, it's because the computer is trying to do base 2 math, but the hard drive, or some SSDs follow the hard drive capacity style, which is
Right.
it's actually base 10, and the computer's trying to do a base 2 thing out of a base 10 thing, and it just gets stupid confusing with hard
Right.
disks and storage. Anyway, so 128, a 500, and then a 1 terabyte hard drive, from the sounds of it.
What was that? Sorry, I missed that.
I think it was a 1 terabyte hard drive, right?
Huh.
Like actual spinning rust,
Right.
as I refer to it. Yeah.
Which is a very apt description. It's true.
You know, it's in some state of resting.
Sort of. Yeah.
So hopefully it doesn't get any more rusty.
I got a few that I'm sure are at this point.
I mean, they might. They're in your Tupperware bin of drives, there, David.
That haunts your nightmares, doesn't it?
It really does.
Yeah.
When you grab that thing and there was and all of those like had actual data that you cared about on them,
Yeah.
I was definitely cringing.
Hey, that's why. Look, to this day, I have to thank you. I got Meredith going, the Drobo.
Drobo, yeah.
I distracted you again. Sorry. So
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing the C drive is the 128 right now, the smaller one.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
my C drive is the very small one.
And probably the fastest. Is that would that be a correct
It
assumption?
might not be, David. So the 5. Okay, so are both of the SSDs the M.2 style, or are they?
Are they
the
a
other
part of the
style?
board themselves, or are they?
Do they look like a mini hard drive, or do they look like a gum stick?
Pardon?
Do they look like a mini hard drive, or do they look like a gum stick?
Like a stick of gum.
Both
Like a
of
stick of gum.
my SSDs, they're just these tiny things that none of them are like big hard drives, but
Oh, interesting. Okay. And how do they
The-
connect to your? How do they connect to in your computer? Do you know? Can you see?
yeah, I have a glass thing. They are connected to the motherboard.
So those are the M2s, right?
Are they like sitting right on the motherboard, like literally plugged into the motherboard directly?
Yeah, they're plugged into the motherboard. And then what they say on it is 500 gigabytes 3D NAND SATA SSD.
Oh, so that's SATA. Okay, so that's
So those are like the hard drive style ones.
well, they could be SATA, but on the M.2 form factor. I'm guessing they're SATA drives. I'm guessing they're the 2.5 inch. You know, are they the size of a playing card?
Yes, roughly.
Okay, there you go.
Oh, okay. So yeah, so that makes right.
Okay.
I have one.
So you're caught in this chicken and the egg thing. So it sounds like the computer originally had a 128, and then you added on a 500 later. But the problem is, like, what I would have done at that point was I would have imaged over, like, duplicated the 128 and copied all the contents over to the 500. And so I would have sort of moved my C drive over to the bigger one.
And made that where your Windows operating system is and stuff.
Yeah, and you just make that the bigger one. All of the systems in my house only have a single drive in them, and then all of my bulk storage is on the network, similar to David's Drobo.
Right. The
Right,
Drobo is
like
just like a giant multi-disc disc.
Yeah, I have all of the big spinning drives are sitting in a big thing in my basement. And so the idea is that whenever I have relatively small SSDs compared to that big drive that's on the network, each computer just has a pretty small SSD, like, maybe a terabyte, half a terabyte,
Right.
something like that, just like that 500 that you have in yours. But the idea is that I only am keeping the stuff on that drive that I'm really currently doing. There'll be a few games on it. There's all the Office and all the other regular stuff, but anything that's media, like, MP3s, videos, any of that stuff that takes up a whole bunch of space, all that goes onto the drives in the basement. And just like your Drobo, I have those drives set up in a way that, several drives can fail, everything is still good, and then it's also getting backed up to another set of drives. It's down there.
Right.
So I'm
lots of redundancy.
Lots of extra redundancy.
I don't have lots of redundancy.
Well, you have a Drobo, or at least you're better than most.
Yeah, and it is set in whatever mode it is, that it's like mirror mode. So I always want to start singing, but
yeah, you have like two disk failure mode that you have it in. I
think they basically everything is mirrored at least once or whatever. Yeah, cloned or whatever.
The only real risk you have is that none of the storage, like, you don't have anything that's quote unquote offline. So if some nasty piece of software got onto one of your computers and that computer had access to the Drobo, then it could completely muck everything up on you. Yes.
Yeah, like for example, so what's it called? I would say hijacking. What's it called? The
ransomware.
Ransomware. That's the one you got to watch out for, right? Because that can go through the network and try to find stuff, right? Other things.
Yes, it goes for network drives first.
Damn them.
Usually.
With the ransomware, would they be able to would they be able to take your passwords even if they're not in a file? Like, would they just be able to be like, oh, you're signed into your Ubisoft account on this computer, yoink, this password is now taken hostage?
It depends on how poorly that software is made.
Oh, just right. Hang on 2 seconds. So, all right. Gimpy G.
It is me.
It is you. I want to drag you into this chat, so I've got to do that. Otherwise, I think we're on separate. Or can you speak to each other? No, you probably can't. Can you?
I wanted to commiserate with the computer guy.
Oh, okay. Let me drag you into this chat. I will drag you in momentarily. All right, hang on.
Okay.
I'll send you. I think you'll get an invite. I think that's
okay. Let me try that.
Or can I do this? Wait a second. Can I do this? Oh, damn it!
I hope you can drag me because I'm kind of.
Yeah, I know. It's. Let me see if I can.
I dropped my stick. So
you dropped the stick. Okay, you dropped the stick. I'm going to try to drag you.
I dropped the stick.
All right. Let me see if I do this. Can I add?
I need a helper monkey so bad.
All right.
Chloe, can I have my stick?
I'm gonna try not to disconnect you.
Okay, I got a stick helper.
Okay,
it's not a monkey, it's a niece. So
invite to the TechBandits server. Here we go. Okay. Oh, then you joined. Okay, so now I just need to make sure that you're in the. I've got you in the. Does that mean have I hung up on my other one? Oh, oops.
Oh God, I hope not.
No, that's right. That's right.
Even if you got access to that information that was saved, like, you couldn't do anything with it.
I see. Okay.
Right. Oh, there's David.
Sorry. Yeah, I was just chatting. I want to get Gimpy God in here, but I'm struggling to do that. How do you drag people into the Discord chat?
You would need to join a Discord. You can't just drag it in it because, like, I could be talking to a friend and then you can be like, no more talk to friend. Talk me.
Don't. He's already on the TechBandits server, right?
I'm invited. Yeah, he's been invited.
So he should be doesn't he need like permissions or roles or something?
Oh yeah, maybe that's possible. Yeah, hang on a second, that's possible.
Because he's not going to see the channel unless he's got the.
Oh, is that how it works?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, all right. Okay, so how do I add? Hey, Vibe Pup, can you add? You're good at this stuff. Can you get him in here, Gimpy God?
Uh,
Do you
yeah,
have-
I can.
I think you've got ad.
And
you've got-
then once you give him the roles, he might have to sign out and sign back in.
This doesn't have any roles. All I need to do is
as long as he's a tech bandit, he should be able to come in. I think.
you have to DM them, and then I don't have.
Wait a minute. Gimpy God is in the Tech Bandits Live channel.
Well, that's what I mean. That's why I can't.
sent it into. I don't have a one with just me and Gimpy, so I send it in the one with.
Oh, he has to join voice.
Yeah, all you have to do is click join voice, and then he's in.
Yes,
Yeah,
but
he's already in the channel.
right. Oh, there he is. Gimpy G.
Am I here finally?
You are here
There you go.
finally, indeed.
Wolf Pup, you're the best.
I'm going to turn your volume up a bit. You seem very low. Here we go. Try that.
Okay,
Better.
fantastic.
I'll be back in a couple.
All right, Alan.
Oh no, wait, Alan.
Oh, Alan's got
Alan,
you got a question for Alan. Woohoo!
Uh-oh. What happened? What?
I just wanted to tell you this gut-wrenching story.
Oh boy.
It's not very long. Okay. So I ended up getting a really nice PC that I can't even get to physically yet because it's downstairs. I'm in a wheelchair. I don't know if you know me, but anyways, it's a 30.
I've heard things.
It's a 3090 Zotac. That's my graphics card.
Uh-huh.
I have a 5900 AMD CPU,
Uh-huh.
and then a FireCuda 2 terabyte hard drive that's I think it's like 5 to 7 gig transfer speed.
2 terabyte FireCuda SSD. Yep.
And the newest LG monitor that's the 4K. What is it? I think it's the 950G or something. It's got the G-Sync and the.
Yep.
Now
see.
I'm drooling over Gimpy God's setup.
That's a serious setup.
It's
I
such a setup.
would be throwing a rope down the stairs and dragging that thing up.
Wait, so you've got a 3090 in this thing too, right?
Correct. 3090.
Yeah.
People-
yeah.
I just think this was funny, but this is just my thinking. If you sold a 3090, well, it's in a lot of, like, if you get it normally, because you're not one of those stinky people that get
Right.
robots,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a
and
sec.
you already have it,
I
and then you
personally
sell
welcome
it.
our bot overlords.
When they do come, yes.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, Vibe. Sorry.
It's fine. And then later, when it gets back in stock, which it might never.
I think it will eventually, right?
No, the 3090 is limited time only.
You think so?
No, I think it's going to be a while before they come down. But where I feel badly about, especially the 5900 CPU, is that a very nice human being camped out and got that for me.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's been sitting there for like 2 months. So I've got this cutting edge computer that's drying up on the vine. I just wanted to tell Alan that way he could cry for me later.
I don't think anyone's got any sympathy for you, Gimpy G. If you've got a 3090 kicking around, whether you're using it or not, I think this is basically just how to get hated.
Well, I like that too, though. I'm the tech guy.
Bring on the hate. But that's interesting. That's an interesting point, though. Vibe Pup makes. I mean, like you could sell that for what is a 3090 going for right now?
It's
Alright.
going.
Isn't that what everyone's thinking right now? They're like, ooh, I could get this for this price. It's not too much.
Baz has joined
And
us.
then everyone, I've been here for a while.
I did. I saw you were muted.
Hi,
though.
Baz.
Yeah.
Hello.
So what? Okay, I'm looking it up right now. What is a 3090 going for right now?
Are we talking about manufactured suggested retail pricing or?
Well, no,
eBay?
I'm talking about the mad frenzy that all the Bitcoin millionaires have done to push up the thing.
You do realize that even down to like 980s and like old 3 tier down are
Right.
going for like their old original brand new selling price.
Well, that's the weird thing, right? So The 3090s,
Yeah.
you'll see like one for sale for like, oh, they're $2,000 or $1,400 or whatever it is. And then a second later, the next ad you see is like for $5,000 because someone's bought it and is now selling.
I literally could not buy a 3080, a 3090, a 3070. I just could not do it. And then the 3090 was let's just say a workaround. I did get a workaround and put that on my computer and got the 3090.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's that. There's actually some people that were doing that because the 3080 was so hard to come by. Because again, like David, like we were talking about before, it's more efficient at mining. It makes more sense to use a 3080 than a 3090.
Yeah.
So what ended up happening was you had the 3090 that was running at somewhere around $1,500 or $1,700, which is really pricey for a graphics card, but it is the top dog, right? The 3080s were only supposed to be $700.
Right.
Yeah.
But what happened almost immediately, especially because of the mining stuff, is a 3080 was 20% lower mining performance than 3090, and what happened was the 3080 rose almost overnight to 20% less cost than the 3090. Right? So
Wow.
so that's what ends up happening, and now the cost of both of them just went up even in addition to that because the mining thing is going crazy now.
Well, and someone was saying that the mining thing, they tried to hobble the 3060 to stop it from mining, and then they issued an update which actually unhobbled the whole thing.
Well, they didn't intentionally issue that update.
That's what
Quote
they say.
But yeah, I mean, so what ends up happening is there'll be some like turnaround on your investment window of time, right? And the number kind of bounces around, but it's usually somewhere around a couple of 100 days worth. So whatever GPU it was, the idea is that if you mined with that GPU for 200 days or so, how much would you make? And then that number ends up being what the market just naturally comes to,
right?
For that particular card. So you can almost do that all the way down the stack. Like I plotted it out once a few months back, and almost every graphics card was plus or minus 10% of like the going rate on the market was within 10% of like the proportion of how fast it is at mining. So these cards that like these older 10 series cards that are 3 years old, that like 1080 Ti, which was the top dog 2 or 3 generations ago.
Right. God, well, even those right now are still like $2-3 grand.
And they're not $2 or $3 grand, but they're like pushing $1,000.
But
for a card that was
Canadian, I'm thinking about Canadian money, so it's probably close to.
Yeah.
I'm guessing the 2080s are close to that now.
The 2080s are. So the 2080s had even faster memory than the 10 series cards did, which again, the memory is more of a factor. So, and granted, they're newer also, so it has that going for it. It's a newer card. It's going to be worth a little more.
Ooh, Phantom Zero Killer got a 3080 for $800.
Yeah, must have got it like right when it came out, probably, or
apparently
because
managed of some nice guys in New York. Interesting.
Oh, yeah.
The nice guys who you robbed as they were leaving the store. I mean, was that? How did
they were so polite.
Wow.
So, and then a final computer question: the lighting, the RGB, that is worth what, like 50-60% of the total value of the
That's
computer?
the cost.
Like it makes
basically,
I mean just like awasomeness. Like,
totally.
Well,
it makes it faster.
It's like stickers on the side of a car.
It totally makes it go faster. They're go faster lights.
Yeah.
In fact, I think your mining will go up by I think it's something like 80% if you add unicorn vomit like that.
And I've got that going in spades. Let me tell you.
The Department of Misinformation says.
Contacts me.
But it's now GimpyG is not willing to put a date on this, but we're getting closer to him having access to his PC again. Yeah,
it's gonna be good.
Yeah, it's gonna be. They're never gonna see you again. It's gonna be like, oh yeah, I remember GimpyG went upstairs to play games about like a year ago, and we haven't seen him since.
Not gonna be around.
Yeah.
Does Baz know about what we're gonna do to him in the Magic the Gathering?
Oh
Doodle.
no, he doesn't.
Are you guys gonna lose? Is that what's gonna happen?
Oh, is that it? Is that it?
Oh, somebody wants to get grounded.
That's great.
But Baz, do you think it would be cheating?
Oh wait, you guys weren't talking about actually like playing. Sorry, I
No,
thought
we
you guys
were.
were gonna say like win.
We were talking about playing, but I thought this. So Gimpy G's got a good idea. Actually, I'll let Gimpy G tell you.
So we were going to do almost like a ratatouille thing where I'm like sitting on your dad's head, pulling his hair and giving him instructions on what to do during magic. And we'll be like one brain.
Yeah.
Like a
one
MODOK
brain
kind of
between
thing.
us.
Exactly.
Okay.
Can I have the brain?
Almost
It's like the
enough.
conch. Who's got the brain?
Exactly. And we will take you down, Baz.
James Gurney is
coming.
playing Magic the Gathering right now. Damn it. James gets
I
good at these
guess.
things way before everybody.
I mean, once I get I'm gonna upgrade my deck a little bit, and then there's no way I'll win.
Well, what if I might upgrade my deck too? You're
Let's not
grounded.
forget, your dad's budget is pretty good. So I'm just saying.
Yeah, I've got an entire cabinet of cards downstairs, Baz. And the ability
Dad,
to
do Dad, do you know that still means that it's not you that's winning, right?
Have you done your
Because
homework yet?
I haven't actually.
What?
Well,
Do you have homework?
No,
Okay, good.
maybe.
You are such a liar. It's so
Maybe.
bad. Okay, Jack All Nerd says, let me play Baz in Magic. He'll learn to play respectfully.
Yeah.
Oh man, you have got. Watch out. There's a target on your back now, Baz. On your Magic.
Play my dad
back.
in Magic's the Gathering, and you'll learn how to play badly.
I've learned how to play incredibly badly. It's true. Yes, but I just it's important that my son wins all the time.
Yeah.
I just love that you've taught him the fine art of smack talk.
Oh, Smack Talk. I
That
didn't have
is-
to teach him anything. He was doing that. I
Oh.
think he came out. Yeah, I think he just came out doing that. No, he came out without any chin, and then he learned Smack Talk.
You just
You
gotcha.
tried Magic's the Gathering without
Do you-
any brain.
Alan, do you play Magic the Gathering at all? Are you a trading card guy?
I'm so mean.
Not as much as I'd like to be. It's just among the list of things that I don't have time for.
You and
What
me
is
both.
your expertise,
Yeah.
Alan? Like, how did you become the computer guru?
Well, you know, is back when I didn't have a day job and things like that.
But what was your into computers? How did you get into that?
Oh man, I don't know. People aren't gonna know even what I'm talking about in this room.
Was it the military?
Oh,
was it the military or did the
we're
military
all-
come out?
No. It started when I was like 8 with a Commodore 64.
Dude, what are you? Everyone knows about the Commodore 64 because this old guy talks about it all
Everybody.
the time.
Well, you know, yeah, I had a Commodore 64 way back when. Like,
don't you want another one now? Like, wouldn't you love to have an old Commodore 64 right now?
the sad thing is that, like, you know, just over the years you move and whatever, and like my dad, like I had one and then I moved out and took it with me, and my dad like had another one, and but then
my dad had a
you know,
couple as well.
I mean that was decades ago, right? So like, I mean they're all gone now. Yes, I might pick one up or find one and get one off of eBay. I probably should.
I
honestly,
keep an eye out for them. They're all in the States. I can't get any up here. But the problem is anybody who's got any kind of connection to it is charging a freaking fortune, and anybody who isn't, it looks like it's just a mess for the most part. But I would love, you know, someone's recreated they recreated it with like an Arduino or so, or the Raspberry Pi or something.
I do. Well, actually, wait. I take that back. Technically, I do have a Commodore 64. It's just in a joystick.
Right.
Emulation. Okay.
Yeah.
Right? No, it's not the emulated one. It's the one that Jerry Ellsworth worked on the project. That was sold for a while.
And it's just is it just the games?
No, well, it has some games built into it, but the thing is that it's like an actual
It's the
actual
chip and everything.
processor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
And if you open, what was it? It was just like C64. What the heck's the full name on this thing? I'm looking at the box here. I bought it a long time ago, and
It's in the box. Wow.
yeah, it's still in the box. Like it's in this little triangle shape. It's like a C64 direct to No, not direct to anything.
C64. What was it called? C64 like joystick of something. There you go. C64 joystick. Oh no, of course.
It was just built in. It was just built into a joystick. Jerry Ellsworth is this one of the names in just the tech community. She's been on Laporte show a few times and things like that, and she's good at like, working out electronic things.
Right.
That's just kind of like her shtick. She's good at
what's
that.
her name again?
Jerry Ellsworth.
Okay.
Jeri, I think. So she like helped them work out, like work the bugs out of it, make it work properly. Like they were, the company that was trying to make the thing, right? Back in the day. And I mean, it's, if you open up, so I don't know if you found the website for it or anything.
Tilt 5, is that the name of her company?
It probably is now. She's
yeah.
Like, I think she worked with Oculus for a while or something, or there was something going on there.
Holographic game systems. Right now, she's doing
Holy smoke.
5L
C64.
Oh my god.
Let me look up this joystick thing. C64 Direct TV. It's on Wikipedia, actually.
Right.
What's funny about that is that if you open it up and look at the PCB, it actually has like all of the ports from the C64. There's headers on the PCB. So
That's neat.
Yeah, so like you could take one of those joysticks, open it up, and actually hook up all the ports and plug it into a 1541 floppy drive, and like you could connect it as if it's a full blown C64.
That's kind of neat. Then you wouldn't need the full, because the other thing is my other problem. I don't know if you find this at all, Alan, is that things start to pile up. You have a lot of things.
Yes, that's sort of my effort of downsizing was to just get this little joystick.
Yeah,
that was the size.
Generally, I go to downsize my Magic the Gathering collection, and I end up ordering more. That's generally what happens. We have another box. We have another booster box coming.
I just think that makes sense. It really does.
Thank you, Gimpy.
Yeah, I had to downsize. Like years back. I downsized my like computer magazine collection.
Me too.
And like my Commodore, I still have I after downsizing, I still have like a dozen or so. Well, not a dozen. Yeah, I got some Popular Sciences from 1993.
I had every single Byte and PC magazine. I
See,
had all of those.
There you go. Yeah, I have like some PC computing magazines. So that was like the one you would order all the goodies out of back then, right?
Mondo 2000s. I used to get those. Wired when it first came out. Ugh.
Yep. I do have some of the Computes Gazette, which was the Commodore magazines way back when. Yeah.
There was a couple. I had one. I think it was like something electronics or practical something, or where it had about the Apple. I was reading about the Apple. God, I can't remember what it was. Yeah, it was like, again, one of those like British magazines. The Brits are amazing at doing incredibly specific magazines. Like it's like it's like railroad, model railroad N scale magazine that's just for the N scale of the model railway type thing. But yeah, I also have a Sinclair back in England. Baz, remember that? I think I showed it to you, right, Baz? It was Gramps. Gramps
sort of. Yeah.
Gramps remember the Sinclair?
Is it still in England?
Yeah. Yep. The Sinclair.
We should go get it.
Wait, let's show everybody how old we are. Did you guys ever get the magazines that had a program like on 2 or 3 pages, and you had to like transfer that into?
Yeah. That's how I. That's how I was doing. I was doing Dungeons and Dragons games. Baz got sort of like verklempt about this because he was laughing at how many little friends I had. But I had no one to play Dungeons and Dragons with because all my friends were too cool. And so I wrote a basic program, and I based a lot of it off of a program in the magazine. So just for the tech bandits who don't know this, you used to get magazines that would have programs in them, but instead of being given a program to download or a link or a disc or anything, even that's, I guess, old fashioned for you, you used to have the code. So you'd have to type the code in, pages and pages and pages of code to actually get your programs to run. Oh my
See if
God,
I
we've turned
can,
into those old people who talk about what things used to be like.
How do you even? Wait a minute. How did we share video last time we were doing stuff?
I think you can just. Although, are you on? I don't
I'm
think
on the-
I can. You can share it with me. I'm not sure I can share it with anyone else though.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you don't have.
I don't have because I'm on the other computer now. But
Yeah,
maybe
yeah,
I
yeah.
can. Yeah, maybe I can.
Where do I even turn it
think if
on
you-
this
I
Discord?
think if you go to either share your screen or at the bottom there should be, if you
Hold on, wait. The webcam might not be plugged in. That might be the problem.
that could be it. That could.
It's
be
like where's the where? It's acting like it's not plugged in. So wait, maybe it actually is not plugged in.
How was your day, by the way, Ironham?
Boring.
Was it nothing exciting at all today at school? There's not one thing you learned that you're like, oh, that's cool. Not a single thing.
Nothing.
No.
Nothing.
Really?
He's got nothing.
Okay, so just to make
I guess theater class, but yeah. No.
Ugh. What? The one thing I think is a waste of time? No, that's good. I'm glad you're enjoying theater class. It's just that you can never become an actor. I forbid it.
Oh, come on.
He's got to be a scientist.
I never want to.
He's going to be a scientist YouTube streamer, right, Baz?
All right.
Maybe
On
two of those
Mars.
are correct.
Oh,
Now,
oh my God,
those are
speaking of Mars, I don't know about you, but I cannot wait to see that freaking helicopter fly on Mars.
Oh yeah.
Didn't it already fly?
Oh, has it?
Also, I thought it did.
Did I miss it?
I don't know.
They
I don't think
dropped
they
the
have-
belly pan. So the
Yeah,
belly
they dropped
pan,
the. Yeah.
they dropped that, and they have to. I thought they had to drive for a bit to find a good place to take off. But this thing is folded up and sideways, and they've got to like drop it down, drop it onto the planet, drive away, and then it's going to take off. And I just think, I'm sorry, I know people have landed on planets and all that, and there's all that stuff.
So let's see. I cannot stream to the TechBandits live channel.
Oh,
I have to go.
It's a permission thing.
oh, is it really?
I have to go eat, but I will probably be back unless you like end right now.
All right, quick, end right now.
No, don't.
I will go till I will go till 6 o'clock when I must go and start the slow wheels of dinner. That's
what I'm having. I need to have
How
quickly have
slow
dinner.
are the wheels of dinner?
They are pretty
That
damn
was my
slow.
pup.
Pretty damn. There you go. Imaging edge webcam. What?
What?
That's weird.
What? But Vibe Pups, thank you for helping me get in there. I really appreciate it.
I think he's.
If he's here.
You've been
It's too late.
like basically.
Oh,
it's
using the wrong thing.
They gave up
It's
for.
too late.
They gave you up for food.
I see you.
God. There you go. I
It's
see you
okay.
too.
It's okay.
Look at that.
Oh my.
I know. I'm
Let's
so
find-
jealous.
Let's find the Computes Gazette.
Computes Gazette.
That is
So
a
this-
proper nerd
this-
cabin.
so this
Hey, Alan,
game-
do you mind if I
so this-
if I share this? I think I can share this.
Yeah. Share it.
There you go. Let's go. Or
If
will
it
I be sharing
cooperates.
everyone's names? Wait a sec. Do I do that?
I don't know.
I think we're okay. Let's do this.
I think you can make just one like full screen in that window or something.
I've got one.
or-
Yeah, I've got them down the side there. So there you go. Sorry. Would you mind showing us the gazettes again? Because just in
Yes,
case
yes,
any of
yes.
us don't know what a magazine is.
Yeah, Computes Gazette, right?
Vic 20.
And then this game here, the Forbidden Crypt, was like the fancy game of the episode, right? Or of the magazine. So what is this? February of 95 or 85.
Now, for all the kids in
85.
Tech Banditry, a magazine is a web page that you
It's
could
a web
hold.
page that doesn't move. It can't be changed.
No, but wait. So hold on. Let's where is the game? Ah, yes.
I still like magazines. I didn't think I would,
They're
but I do
Forbidden
still like
Crypt.
magazines.
So if you want to play the Forbidden Crypt, you have to start typing.
There you go, Baz. So you imagine if we made you do that to play a game.
So you start typing, then you keep typing.
Is that basic? It is basic. Is that?
Well, at the front end of this thing is like an interpreter that was written in BASIC, and you had to like type that program in so that you could then in turn type
my
in
God.
like, because basically there's just like a bunch of data
Yeah.
that you would then type in, right? So there was this front end that would interpret the other lines that you were at that point you were basically typing in machine language.
Right.
Right. Otherwise, it would be way, way longer of a
Yeah.
thing to type in.
Yeah,
It wouldn't
that'd
just
be
be
a
a few
lot of
pages in the
basic,
back of
wouldn't
it.
Lot of basic.
And it would run super slow too.
Right.
Um,
Not that they didn't run internally slow anyways. The one I just remember the boot up process, and it's like, oh no, like sometimes the computer would go down or whatever, and you'd be like, you know what, I can't be bothered to go back to it because it's going to be another 20 minutes for it to get, to get it booted up.
oh yeah, to load off the disk, right?
Yeah. Or load off the tape cassette.
Tape cassette.
Remember
Yeah.
that? It was
Press
using
play on tape.
Okay, I got a question for you. Why does Discord suck for video?
I don't know.
You need premium, or else it won't give you the best video.
Yeah, but it's not. I
Oh,
can have premium,
premium.
but I can have premium. It doesn't affect anyone else's video. Their video still sucks because I've had premium. I've had
No, it's
natural.
only for yours, Dad.
I need to
Exactly.
get premium.
But if
It's
I'm trying to
your
get,
camera that upgrades.
but if I've got, but I want everybody else
This
to
is
look
a-
good.
this is a
I don't
good
care.
Yeah, well, I don't know how to do that, or else everyone else has
Well,
to get
then
Nitro.
you can go to your room and play video games.
I think
you
he
would
should
have to
start
do,
like-
making his debt.
You have to do like some other thing other than
We're gonna do
Discord to get the video
StreamYards.
across.
I got. No, I'm gonna use. No, what did we decide? Gimpy God. We thought OBS
Ninja,
Ninja, right?
OBS Ninja, yeah.
I'm.
That's
we're,
what
Do
we're
what?
talking about.
we're gonna play with OBS Ninja because that's what Barnacles was working with, and that seems to work for him. And sometimes he's fast asleep 1 minute before we start, so if he can get up and running that fast, that's it's pretty good. So Alan, you're work wise all good. Are you suffering from chip shortages like everyone else?
I mean, we're making chips. I don't know how many people are trying to buy them. I would imagine it's a lot.
Well, I heard a thing recently on one of my many podcasts, some of which may be real, that they're saying that they shut down some of these silicone processing or manufacturing plants, but it's not as simple as just turning them off and on. It takes a while to sort of wind them up again.
Oh, like the ones in Texas and stuff?
I guess so, yeah.
There was some stuff in Texas where they were having the power outages and things like that. And I mean, it's a big machine, right? You're trying to start back up a big, some of this equipment like has to be recalibrated if you kill power to it and
Right.
things like that. Like it's a chip fab. It's doing things on a nanometer scale. So it's not a matter of, you don't just walk away from the building and chirp your little remote alarm and the whole thing just shuts down and just start it back up.
Really? Because that would be a lot easier.
It would be a lot
if that was the
easier.
case. Yeah. All right, how do I do this all right, if I do switch to that again, and then if I put you in the
Uh-oh.
second
Are
window,
you crossing the streams?
Oh, no.
This is
You're
it.
crossing the streams.
I've
Dozer
tried to
will be here.
simplify everything, and I still get a random hum on audio. It drives me freaking crazy.
I'm not hearing
I don't
that.
hear anything.
You're not hearing it now, so it may
I don't
be
hear
the
a
I
phone.
am not.
Yeah, it may be the phone. God knows how many times my agents tried to call me while I've had the phone shut off.
Your phone has a hum that.
I wondered if we decided it wasn't that, right, Gimpy G?
Right. It sounds like he's got some kind of power. What would you call it? Like a closed circuit thing going
It's
on.
like a
Is it a
hum.
60? Is it a 60 hertz hum?
Yeah, like deep, right in
Yeah.
your chest.
So then you have a ground loop.
Yeah. And you're gonna have to get a power conditioner to
I
fix
know.
it.
Yeah. There's a thing called a ground loop isolator you can get.
Great.
It's for all it is an audio transformer.
But do I
So-
need that for? Am I going to need
You
that
would
for
need
like
it-
every plug I use, or is that going to be?
No, usually it's between. See, the thing is,
Looking it up.
different audio gear is supposed to isolate for ground loops anyway. But you'd have to figure out like at somewhere in your mess of wires there would have to be something that if you unplugged it, the hum goes away. So you
Mhm.
sort of have to troubleshoot and figure out, okay, which thing do I unplug to make the hum go away?
Right.
And once you figure out that plug, that's the exact place where you want to put a ground loop isolator.
And sorry, so is this
Oh.
actually going on the power, or is it going on just on the
No,
audio cable?
So a power conditioner goes on the power, but it's not necessarily going to get rid of a ground loop. A
Mm.
ground loop is because you have two different pieces of audio gear. Each one of them is connected to ground, but for some reason the audio signal ground is slightly offset from the power ground in such a way that you're hearing the power signal in the audio. They're not supposed to
Okay.
crisscross, right?
I wonder if, because I know
And
that
you can't hear that at all, David. So you're hearing.
Yeah, I don't
is
hear
like-
any 60 hertz.
No, I don't either. But he couldn't hear it earlier when there was one.
I didn't hear anything.
So-
yeah, but I'm also
and I'm
deaf.
one- Right.
It's maybe
I was
part of the
wondering.
problem.
Maybe.
Baz, you don't hear it either, right?
I hate that thing where kids can hear stuff that we can't hear.
Ugh.
No.
And now I'm almost convinced they're always talking about us.
And
In
they
like
also
some really
can't
high
hear
pitch.
things that we know we've said.
Oh yeah, but that's a different skill.
Yeah, that's a whole other different skill entirely. All right, so
Over your right shoulder, Alan, is that
That's my
Storage
preferred
medium?
skill.
Over my right shoulder. What am I looking for?
I see discs. Are those
Yes.
different kinds of storage medium, or what is that?
Yeah.
a wafer thin chip.
Neato.
Let's go through the tour.
Let me see if I can pull you up. Hang on a second.
The
I'm
tour
trying
of
to make
storage
us
things.
educational.
Tour of storage things on Alan's shelf.
I think we gave up on the educational a long time ago. I think now.
Oh, why not? Oh, no, you didn't. Let me pull up the Discord so I can see myself.
see if
Are
I can
you?
do this? I'm gonna
What are
see
you
if I can
doing?
put you in there as well. That's
Now you got to uncross the streams and recross the
That's right. I'm
streams.
going
if you
to
can.
recross the crossing the stream. There we go. Let's do this, and then I think I can make this bigger, because then you'll actually.
We're gonna go. Let's see here.
There we go. A little bit more
See,
of a tour.
I'm a connoisseur of storage medium things. So
Connoisseur.
Gosh, this
Actually-
guy's so high tech.
I'm a
Alan,
connoisseur.
I
I'm
like it
actually,
when you use those big words.
I'm actually, yeah.
There you go. You sort of see what's going on, everybody. There you go.
Let's see. How far back do we want to go?
To the way back times
Do
before
we want
COVID.
to start? We can start most recently, I guess.
Hang on one second. Let me see if I can get a better setup here. If I do that.
Oh, there's all the streams he's crossing.
Yep. I'm crossing those streams, and if I do this,
That's your
then if
it's
I-
just you.
yeah. But if I do this now, I think if I do this now, there we go.
Which computer are you using now?
Oh, this is the ATM. This is the ATM Mini. This is like the. This is actually like a box, a little streaming box.
Oh, okay.
That's why it's.
You got yourself a proper video handler.
Yeah, except that it's a pain in the butt. I
Well,
love
you
it.
know,
I love it, and I
it's got a
hate it.
learning-
Makes sense.
It's a learning curve.
Exactly.
Us
Well-
guys with 3090s are just going to use one computer setups.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Baz keeps saying the same thing. He's like, yeah, you could just use your computer in OBS like everyone else does. But that just-
Yeah, a lot of people use OBS.
Yeah, I did for a while too. But I was also using my my Mac, so it was sort of causing chaos. There you go. That's a little better. So I'm in the corner. You're in the middle. I wasn't planning on a freaking show and tell.
Oh, I mean,
I
you
did
know.
it.
So
Ooh.
back in the day when you see the old computer setup with the reel-to-reel tape there, right?
Baz, those are on those movies from history.
Yeah.
Would
Like
you
used
war
to-
games?
So
Mm.
so growing up, my dad worked at a small data center that was at a hospital in Tampa, and so they would they had a little, like back when they were called like computer rooms, right? And it had the raised floor, and it was always freezing in there because they were trying to keep all the computer stuff cool, and they were like when they were actually called mainframes and mini computers and things like that, they actually had these different terms, and now like this desktop is probably thousands of times faster than everything that was in that whole setup at the time, right?
And they now call it a cloud.
Yeah, now it's a cloud and everything else. But back then, like he actually had to every day. He had these, the data was stored on these tapes, and it was all the billing information. It was all the, hey, we have to send out all the bills to all the patients.
Yeah.
And then they had one of those big, monstrous, coffin-sized, IBM printers.
The dot matrix printers.
No, it had an ink roll. So it worked more like a typewriter.
Huh.
And it would print insanely fast. But the alphabet was stamped into this big steel band that would spin up, and it was just on like a racetrack inside the print head of this thing. And then it would basically had like punches behind it that would just punch at the very instantaneous, like perfect fraction of a second to get the right letter at the right place on the page.
Wow.
So it would basically print a line of text at a time.
Wow.
Ah,
And
that's so cool.
and so as it was printing, like you would feed, and this is what, back when you had the paper with the perforations on the sides, right? And so they had all this pre-printed billing, back in the day when you got a bill and it looked like it was printed on like a carbon copy paper and things like that, right?
Well, because you
like,
could do duplicates with it. Yeah.
Yeah, you could do duplicate, and it was actually, the paper was already ready to go with the perforations on both sides, several carbon copy, in the middle of the different pages, right? The different, color sheets or whatever were in the thing, right? But when they went through that printer, it was like a page a second.
Yeah.
It was just, just like, and the thing would just, the paper would fly out of this thing, right? And if it wasn't, if you got like a jam, it would,
forget it.
It would make a huge mess very quickly,
Oh,
right?
man,
Because it's literally just throwing paper at the jam, right?
I remember that with the Commodore 64. Remember that? Like the number of times you have to start again because the thing.
I had an Okimate 10 color printer on the C64 that was such a big deal at the time, and the way that it printed the color was it had to go over the ink ribbon 3 times, once for red, green, and blue.
Huh.
And there was a little oh my god, yeah, it was like a minute per line.
Right.
Right? But there were these like sample pictures you could print that back in the day that were like amazing. Like these magazine quality picture would come out at the end, but you'd have to wait like a whole afternoon for it to come out of the printer.
It's like 3D
you look
printing
over.
Now. They'll say the same thing about 3D printing in 10 years time, right?
Yeah, yes,
like, what,
exactly.
13 hours to print a box? Just order one from Amazon. The drone they'll bring it to you.
Yeah, and back then it was like hours and hours to print a page, and like the Commodore had to like occasionally load more of the image from the disk, like while the paper was, and if like the drive had an error in the middle of the print, like it was like, oh my goodness, it was so painful back then.
What's the capacity on that disk you just showed us?
Of this disk, let's see. So the tricky thing about this disk is the capacity actually, I'm pretty sure it varied based on what type of tape drive you used.
I'll bet.
Used it in. The same goes for these cassettes. Although
they were probably nowhere near like a meg, right? Or were they?
I think that might be 2 gig.
No way.
On this
no.
tape.
They were dealing with gigs?
Gigs. This is way back when. So this was a competitor to this back in the day.
Wow. I didn't realize there was that much data on them. I mean, I remember tape backups that were like, 100 megs or whatever.
Oh, right. Well, this was like a big deal when it came out. So let's see. What else?
My first hard drive was an 80 meg hard drive.
That looks like a ginormous CD. That's all I have to say.
Further down the...
It does, doesn't it?
Oh, we're getting there. We're getting there. So this is one of the discs. If I don't knock everything else over all at the same time.
I mean, they're actually pretty all by themselves.
This I found this after my dad passed away, sitting on the top of a shelf in his garage.
Huh.
And so this is an actual hard disk, which would have been in a stack, which you actually took in and out of, like you wouldn't just take the one disc, but there would be like part of the whole, like, like a cartridge, and it would be like, and a little plastic cover would go over it to keep dust out of it, but you would like take it, stick it in the machine. And this was probably from that hospital.
Right.
Actually, this is probably a bad disc or something.
It was a bad sector.
Yeah, this had a couple of bad sectors on it or something, where a sector is probably like, you can actually like see it if you wanted to, right?
Where it touched the side and scraped a chunk out.
Yeah.
I think I saw a movie called Crawl, where you could throw that and actually chop people's heads off.
Crawl.
But then here's a different disc.
What?
Yeah, look at that.
Oh, look how pretty. It's so beautiful.
Cool looking.
So that is flash memory. Hey, this is what's in your SSDs there, guys.
Wow. Really?
Well, if your SSDs are older. This is from several years ago.
Right.
This is 25 nanometer. Now they're all the way down to, well, actually, they kind of went backwards on the nanometer thing because now they're going 3D. This is not 3D. This is just regular old flat.
You're going to have to tell me.
How many would they get out of that?
Okay.
How many
with this? This is like I did the math once. It's like 3 or 4 terabytes worth. So yeah, this is 3 or 4 terabytes worth, and now you have like 2 terabytes on like a single M.2.
Right.
Although inside that M.2 there are literally stacks of these dies.
Right.
It's not just one die per chip, right?
Huh.
Hey, David, is it too much for TechBandits to talk about? But one day I'd love to find out how they're overcoming the quantum tunneling stuff. You know, when they're down to like what 7 nanometers.
What?
Well, basically, yeah, VIPUP. Basically, if you get too small, all of a sudden, all the electricity and the way electricity works that we're used to stops working that way because we're now into nano. We're into the quantum scale. So we're.
You do realize that SSDs rely on quantum tunneling.
Ooh.
No.
Really?
Yeah. How do you think you? I got up for 2 seconds and the cat stole the chair.
Yeah, that's it's like me in the bed.
Yeah. So the bits are stored on flash memory by storing electrons within an insulated part of the chip.
Hmm.
Well, they're inside of an insulator.
Right.
They're trapped in there. So how do you get them in or out? You actually have to quantum tunnel them through the insulator.
Oh my gosh,
Really?
dude! I'm gonna have somebody scrape up my brains because you just blew my mind.
Well, now I got to look this stuff up because I got to see this.
I mean that's how it works. Like the electron,
That's
if you don't do anything with the SSD, if you're not trying to change what's stored, the electrons are trapped there.
Right.
They're just stuck, right?
That's
And then you
so
can go
cool.
you can go by later and when you try to read the data, you're basically just saying, okay, what is the electric field over there of those electrons? How many electrons are in there? And then you can figure out roughly how many are in there, and that corresponds to some data.
Wow.
But if you want to go and erase it, you have to.
I was
Hold
gonna
on.
say,
That
I
is
think
so
your
amazing.
cat's about to take everything off your shelf.
Yeah, the cat is like destroying the printer, and
That's what cats
So-
do. That's why they're evil. Then you should get a dog instead.
don't tell my wife that.
I have such a nice kitty. He actually will go get people when I yell at night, like I was telling you, David.
Really?
Like since I can't roll.
The cat.
Yes, I'll yell.
You've got a
the
rescue
cat.
cat?
Now here's even better. Yeah, he's a rescue. We got him from somebody who had him at a store in a box, and he's a big dude, 25 pounds.
Jesus.
And he will actually go to the person I'm yelling for, and get them, and bring them. It's amazing.
All right, fine. That's
All right.
That's just one nice cat.
Exceptional cat. Exceptional.
What is
Are
that?
you ready? Are you ready for this?
Yes.
What
What
the
that?
hell is that? A
Digital
stack board.
HK
So that's
32K.
32,000 by 19 bits.
22,000.
Holy moly.
So it's roughly, it's 19 bits. A byte is 8 bits. So you have to extrapolate that a little bit. It's roughly like 96 kilobytes.
And who would need more than that, Alan?
Right.
But it's 96 kilobytes of magnetic
Oh wow.
memory.
Wow. Yeah, you should totally put a fridge magnet on that.
Yeah, yeah. Back when that's how you stored bits.
Yeah,
That is
and
amazing.
you would erase them if you got remember there was always that thing about you
Sorry.
can't put magnets anywhere near
Oh yeah. Yeah, you'd mess it up.
That's no longer much of a problem, right?
No, because even if you get a magnet near like a hard drive, the scale is so different, right? Like yes, you have a magnet, but the magnetic field, the bits are so tightly packed on a hard disk that the field, the within that little area, the field is insanely strong.
Right.
It's all a matter of scale. Right.
Whereas the older ones were not as close and could easily be decimated.
Yeah, the fields were really weak, like on a floppy disk.
Yeah.
Right. Like you could easily just blow away a floppy disk with a.
Oh, I've done it.
Speaking of, Speaking of which, I still have my box of floppy disks from my C64.
I
Like, that's
got
the
rid
one
of
thing
that.
I didn't
I
get
got
rid
rid
of.
of my floppies. That was that. I think my cat might have peed on them, and that's why I don't like cats. My cat used to pee on everything that was at his level. The cat's no longer
Which
with
with a
us.
cat is every level, right?
Which basically, as you say, with a cat is every level. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
my cat was just trying to get up on the top level over there.
So
It's
after
well,
explaining
I used to
the, go
I
ahead.
used to keep I used to keep the Saturn V Lego thing up on the top of that shelf over there, and then the Saturn V came down and erupted on the floor.
Yeah. That is. Yeah.
And also that space station has already once erupted on the floor.
Is that the Lego ISIS?
Yes,
Nice.
right next to the Lego Voltron.
I debated.
You have the coolest friends, David. I swear.
You gotta have the Lego Voltron.
I don't want
you
the
gotta
friends.
have-
I just want the toys.
And you gotta have the Lego
That's right.
Porsche and the Lego
Big
Beetle
fan.
and the Lego Bugatti and
See,
Wait,
this
wait,
is
wait.
why. I
Wait,
should open
is
a
that an
Lego.
electronic arm?
that.
wait.
Oh, here we go.
What's that?
This is one of those
I-
other things from my childhood that I
Is
insisted
that the
on getting
Radio
for
Shack
myself.
one? The Radio Shack.
Oh, guys, I have such a good story for
Oh,
this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Armatron, man. You gotta.
Armatron.
This is how I learned. Probably most of my mechanical knowledge learning came from taking one of these apart when I was like 7.
Well, Radio
Okay,
Shack
okay.
had a great series of books as well. On that.
Oh,
Okay,
hold
great
on.
story. Just super quick. I actually got one of those.
I'm looking
It was
for
great.
David's Radio Shack books.
Gotcha. It's always been difficult to shop for a disabled person, and so I got one of those for Christmas, and my dad put Power Wheel tires on the little arms there,
Right.
so that I could add more grip to turn them, because you could actually twist them to turn the hand and to open the grip.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
I had those
Here you
as
go.
well. There was
There you
also
go,
a big
David.
green book on electronics that looked like a notebook. So wait a sec. So in order to be able to control the Armatron, you needed to have special rubber things added to the controls.
Yeah, Dad was like an expert at adding leverage to everything.
He's an expert in leverage. I like it.
Yes.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
and the Armatron, the inside of the Armatron is super cool. Just how the thing works, because there's only. I mean, this was back when everything was electromechanical.
Right. Yeah. And
Right?
it's like one
So-
motor will do like 10 different things.
Yeah, there's
through
only one
gears and
motor in
stuff.
this.
Yeah.
And you're able to do like rotate left and right and up, down, left and right, and like so there's like there's 6 axes here basically
Right.
of motion.
And it would all
that
be
you can
about like
do.
a piece of plastic would shift over and move the
Yeah.
gear that attached to this. Yeah, it's always
Yeah,
Amazing.
it was so
wrist-
cool how these work. Like I'm sure
Yeah.
there's a YouTube video showing the guts of one of these and how it works. It's like amazingly complicated for what it was back then.
Right.
I'll bet you could have a small cottage industry 3D printing those gears right now.
That's
Oh,
true.
probably.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true because there's going to be all those parts. I remember being so excited about getting the Simon, the handheld digital game system, which was basically just like it was literally like a matrix of like I think it was like 8 LEDs. And I remember taking that apart the first day I got it.
You mean like that?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Donkey Kong.
Yeah. That, oh my God, the number of times we got in trouble at school for that.
So, fun
so
fact:
much nerd in me.
this is the first appearance of a D-pad ever.
Is it really?
This was the
True
first
story.
game to have a joystick with up, down, left, and right
It
like that
seemed
on
so
D-pad.
completely logical because I remember when the kid who had it, Reza Sachu, had the first one of those that I'd ever. I think it was Reza had it.
Docs alert.
And we used to borrow it every so often. He'd let you play a game, and there was just something so completely natural about it. Like now I think about it, it feels that I don't think it was anything extraordinary to us because it just seemed so logical as to. Of course, that's what it looks like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Boy.
It just made sense.
And
No.
the way Dad made that so I could play it is he glued a Super Ball to the D-pad, and then he could lay my hand on top of that,
And
then I could
rotate
just up, down, left, and right.
Oh, that's brilliant. Were you any
I don't
good
know
at
if
it?
this is your. I don't know if this is your Radio Shack book, David. Oh, it might not be.
No, mine was very thin. Oh, that's right. I almost bought that recently, actually. Um,
This is old.
well, but they've got like a crazy compendium of them somewhere. I
Oh
could,
yeah.
but damn it. It was, oh no, it was a green. It looked like, I'm pretty sure I don't have it.
I don't think I have
So-
it. A green one. I don't remember a
It
green
was
one.
a green one, and it looked like they had designed it to look like it had been hand done. So it had little doodles in it and stuff, and it was all of the electron. It explained
well,
electrons and.
Well, you might have. So you might have just got a newer version of one of these other ones. Because I think all of these. Yeah, because like, so these were the original version.
I
This is
remember
what they
those
look
too.
like.
Yeah,
But that's what they look like inside.
yeah, yeah. So this was similar to that, but it was. I think it was more like a kiddier version of it. But I loved that. I wore that down.
They later took those same books and consolidated multiple volumes into each one of these.
Ah, all right.
So it's basically the same on the inside.
Right. Mine didn't get that complicated. This one was definitely geared more at like, well, kids, I guess. And then I remember the smaller books because I remember getting a whole bunch of those as well.
It might have been this one. Let's see, Basic Semiconductor Circuits.
But does it explain how they work, the electron and all that kind of stuff?
Maybe.
Pictures of electrons running through. Yes.
Oh, okay.
It was like literally like little. It was like little stick figures of like electrons running through, and they'd go like, it's like voltage is like the volume of the water, as opposed to
Yeah. I'm sure they had books like probably it was variants of these that I have.
Yeah, I'm sure they just like reworking the various things that they had. Yes.
Yeah,
but I remember
these are all.
And you had the 151, 150 in one, or I had the 80 in one, or something. It was the electronics.
Oh, I did. I don't have it anymore, but yes, I absolutely had that. I had the one that you could make a radio.
Yes, I had the radio.
It had an antenna. Yeah.
And the antenna.
Well,
you had
no,
to
it was
put on a. They said attach it to a rad.
Well, it was one of those like 301 or whatever the heck it was back then. But they made one of those, and that like one of the little extra little pieces they threw in on the board there was an antenna.
Get this! I got in trouble for taking apart my 80 in one electronics projects. So it came in a box that was all the parts, and you could like add your own. You added all the wires and stuff, but it was all
the little springs.
Yeah, the little springs. So it was all set up like a nice little desktop thing, and I took that apart.
Yeah.
And my dad's like, "What? What? You just spent all the money on that?" I was like, "Yeah, but now I got the parts."
Yeah, you got to see the actual parts on the underside of the thing. Yeah.
Which it turns out was not that exciting because they were just much.
No, it was just some wires.
They literally. I was like, someone's a genius for doing this, because they had basically selling a bunch of like 3-cent components for $100.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's what was so crazy about that, was that you could just you could go to the same Radio Shack that sold you that 301 kit
and buy
just go in the back, and you could walk out of there for $5 worth of literally every part that was on that kit.
That was my favorite part, was going to the back of the Radio Shack where all the parts were. And our store was not very organized, so it was even better, because it's like, I don't know what I'm going to find in here. Yeah, that was my thing.
So David, your dad is a doctor, correct, or was?
He is, yes, or was. He's retired.
So,
yeah.
So taking apart his subjects would probably be illegal.
So
that might have been.
Look, if he found me doing, my own autopsies, he'd probably be very proud. But no, the fact that I was taking apart a perfectly good toy.
You had to have the shit.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just thought he was kind of backwards. He was putting things together all day.
He
didn't
really
understand
wanted
you taking it apart.
I think he really wanted a doctor. He thought he just could. It wasn't even that he really wanted a doctor. I just think he just couldn't believe that I didn't find this stuff as fascinating as he did.
Listen, you played a doctor on TV, close enough.
Exactly. As I said to my friend today, I may not be a doctor, but I've played one in the mirror.
Yes.
You know what? I hate to do this.
You had a PhD
fun, but
on
I gotta,
TV.
I
yes.
have to wrap this up. I can't believe it's after 6 already.
Time flies.
And we went down nostalgia lane.
We did. Yeah, there you go. That's what happens. We start losing track of time, and then they put us in a home.
Mm-hmm.
But boy, Alan, I really appreciate you going through this stuff with me. I stopped you from doing something worthwhile and
Not-
sat here and talked.
not
That's
at
okay.
all.
I was winding up my day of SSD testing.
Oh, so
Thanks for this.
are you still testing? Oh, buddy, yeah. If you want to, knuckle down to some homework now, Baz, you're welcome to leave us.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you make sure. I know you're dying to
Yeah.
get into any homework.
I'm
you might have.
dying to just do all that homework. Yep.
Sure.
All that
We're coming
math
for you.
equations that they taught us like 3 years ago, and now all of a sudden it's very important again.
Yeah, Gimpy G and I are really dying to take you on in Magic the Gathering. Sometime,
Oh,
so we'll have to-
we're coming for you, Baz. We're
That's it.
coming.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You'll
You're
use the
coming
math
to
one
lose,
day.
actually, but
Dogs,
yeah.
and then I came in, and you were
Yeah.
still talking about the dogs instead of telling me you had to pee.
Oh,
All
that'll be
right,
fine.
I'm going to wrap this up. I will
Okay.
say I'm afraid we've missed Vibe Pup, though, or unless Vibe Pup's back.
I'm here. Can you hear
back.
me?
Yay!
Oh,
I've been
okay.
here for a while. I talked.
Oh, we didn't
Oh.
hear you.
You were talking on mute.
No, I was
Oh, I
out
lost
loud.
everything.
You answered to me.
Oh, well, then I'm amazing. I
Oh.
must have thought you were Baz. Did I threaten to ground you?
No.
Oh, okay, good. Then I didn't confuse myself. Very good. All right, I'm going to switch this over. I'm going
Okay.
to wrap this up,
okay?
folks. Thank you very much. Alan, always a pleasure. Gimpy G, the invite is, as always, as with Alan. Come by, drop by. Feel free to share your toys with the world. Make us all jealous.
And thank you, everybody in chat. You're so great.
That's I've been terrible. I've been so busy chatting that I haven't really checked chat. If that
I
makes
don't
sense.
mind doing that for you.
So, all right, Alan, good luck. Enjoy. We'll talk
Have fun.
soon. Vibe Pup, thank you much. Gimpy G, talk soon. I will wrap this up, and then I will wrap up our stream.
Who
Wait,
do
Gimpy
we
G, do you have one of
raid?
your streamers that we should be rating?
I'm
Not that
looking
I
also.
know of.
What about you,
I haven't
Vibe?
been looking around.
I am looking. I think I have one, but they are not very family friendly.
Oops.
I don't know. I don't want to offend. I don't want to offend Baz or anything. You know what I'm saying?
Or they're not playing and they're not. Oh my god.
What are they playing?
They're playing the Walking Dead game.
Oh, really? I haven't played that.
Oh,
Is it
the
any good?
Smosh?
VR one?
Smosh, do you know him?
Smosh.
He's
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
he's playing.
Oh, Emily of the
Shut
Sea
up,
is
yeah.
playing.
Shadow, get out.
Emily of the Sea.
Yeah,
Oh,
she's
that-
satisfactory. She's doing.
Shut up!
Whoop! What was that?
Oh, I'm sorry about that. There's a dog attack.
A dog
But
attack.
not,
Watch out
yeah.
for the dog attack. All right. Well, let me find. Whoa! Wow! I've got too many windows going, don't I? All right. Let me do this. There you go. I realize I've got windows within windows. David, wrong. It's 23. Oh, I see. Okay, got that. Wrong there. Lots of missed things. I apologize. Thank you to everybody who may have done things that might have been great. That was my wrap up. I will never watch Walking Dead. Really?
I tried to watch it. I didn't want to watch it because there was the zombies.
Hey, James, are you streaming? Thanks, Miss Liz. Good to see you. Appreciate it. All right. Okay. Why don't we do? Emily's always very appreciative, and she's kind of wonderful in what she's doing. So why don't we give her a? Ooh, I just posted an arena player code on your Discord. Ooh, thank you.
I don't know what
Yeah, I gotta go
arena
make dinner too. It's too, James. I'm with you. All right, let's do this. Let's do a raid. Raid. Who are we raiding? We're raiding Emily. If I can find her, Emily? Let me see. Emily of the Sea. Let's see, Emily of the Sea. See if we get this right. Mr. Clean Tracy, hello. Got a PC reloaded and working. Woohoo! Just as we're leaving, it's so true. All right, everyone, be safe, be kind, be brilliant. Thank you very much. Gimpy G, a pleasure as always. We will chat again.
The letter of the day is. Oh, what's it? G.
Oh, wait a second, I didn't do this. I wanted to do this. Wait, okay, hang on. Everyone's got to wait. We're not leaving yet. Forget it.
Wait,
We're not.
is the letter of the day G or is it R?
I'd go with
What
R.
is that?
R.
Minifigures. See,
You had this spontaneous Lego building
Yep.
at the end of the stream.
I don't have your fancy big kits, so we're investing in Lego figures instead. Oh, what's this? Oh,
Hey, nothing wrong with Lego figures.
oh, I'm not supposed to look. There you go. Look, there you go.
Is it like playing cards? It's random. You don't know which ones you're gonna get.
Completely random. You have no idea what it's going to be. And then I don't have another. Do I have another monitor I could use this on? I wonder if I could. Actually, okay. I'm gonna put this down like this, and we can see what's going on. Here we go. All right. So got this. So much for ooh. This is kind of cool. Ooh, it's like some kind of like Mayan. Warrior.
Man.
Is it Mayan or Mayan?
Just man.
Maybe it's a British thing. Oh, cool. This is awesome. I love this one. Ooh, look at that. Okay, wait a second. How do you hold this? Oh, I see. So he's going to hold it like this. All right. So he's got a little shield. You seeing this? Little shields?
Yes.
He's got his feet will go into the block. We will give him a giant, really horrible looking sword. That would hurt. I just want to say, I would not want to be. It's like a sword club. See that? Look at that. It's kind of cool.
Oh, that. I don't really think that would hurt getting hit with because it's just a club.
Yeah, but it's got stabby bits on the side. It's got like blades on the side. So it's like a heavy. It's like a heavy blade.
It looks like wood, though.
Oh, maybe it's. I don't know though. Do you think it's wood? It looks like wood with like slate stuck in it or something. Like, I feel like it would hurt. All right.
It would hurt, but I don't think it would be a killing blow just from the first stab.
This is my investment. So it was a $4.99 investment. What's it worth?
What is it?
Let's see. Let's find out. What would it be called?
$4.98.
Is it $4.98? Not
Lego.
what I want to know. Lego Mayan? Is that?
Lego piece. Oh my god, this is an Among Us Lego piece.
Oh, Lego Aztec Warrior. There you go. It's an Aztec Warrior. Let's see what it's worth.
This is oh my god, I hate this. Everybody thinks Lego piece 26047 is Among Us.
Oh, wait a sec. What series is this? Oh, never mind. Series 21. That's not as exciting. Okay, Series 21. Here we go. Series 7. Nope. It's too bad it wasn't a Series 7 one, because that would be $31. Just saying. I don't see it. Okay, that's fine. I'm gonna try to look again, but I'm looking for Series. I can put this back up again, I guess now. Okay, was it I said Series 21, right? Series 21. Here we go. Okay, let's see. Big money. Oh, there you go. See, if this was Bitcoin, I would have more than doubled my, well, not quite, almost doubled my money. It is $11.87.
Oh.
Ooh, oh, good.
See? But this is my point. Sorry, Alan, just so you know what I'm talking about.
No, you're good.
And Gimpy G for that matter. The idea behind this is that I was saying that it's just what you value, right? Like, basically, if you're speculating, you can speculate on anything. As long as other people agree that it has value, right? So you buy a $4.99 Lego figure, and it's now worth $11.87. So that is an investment that's paid off, or a gamble, depending on how you look at it. With Bitcoin, my thing was, at the end of the day, if Bitcoin loses all of its value, you've got nothing. If this loses all of its value, you still have a little Lego figure. But I just like the idea of learning that speculation can be on anything. Like, it doesn't just have to be it doesn't have to be stocks and bonds or things like Bitcoins that are hard to imagine in your brain and stuff. It can literally be things as simple as a trading card or anything else that someone might find collectible. And of course, the things that people don't find collectible are the things that become valuable, because they're the things that no one keeps, right? That often the things that are easily disposed of because no one sees any value of, they suddenly become very rare because everyone's thrown everything out that they had. And I think that applies to computers, frankly. There's going to be a lot of ugly beige computers that are going to be worth a fortune in the future because everyone, they became antiquated and they were thrown out. Television screens, again, the big tubes, you can't even give them away anymore. And eventually, because of that, they'll be worth something, I'm sure. But I just don't want to have a room full of old tubed television.
They are certain ones. Certain ones are sought after for people making arcade cabinets.
There you go. I mean, but that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, I just think that, and the idea was just to teach the bandits that, speculation, just to basically think a little bit outside of the box on the speculation side of stuff, because that's where you will make money where other people won't. And that's the whole sort of, and also you could find things you're interested in, like Lego figures. So there you go. There's our investment of $4.99 is already paying off with an $11.87. Although that is, to be fair, that's eBay. I don't know that they've actually, I'm not, you can ask for anything you want on eBay. You just might not get it, right?
True.
Like, I could put this on eBay and say $8,000. That doesn't mean it's worth $8,000. It just means that that's what I'm valuing it at. So, all right, I'm out of here. Be safe, be kind, be brilliant, be hungry, because I got to go make some dinner now. And we shall, until we geek again, I'll say cheerio and huzzah. And I shall also say we're going to raid Emily. Let's do it. All right. Thanks again, Alan. Gippy G.
Yeah.
All of you. Later. And we raid. All right. Thanks again, man. Talk soon.
We need.
Right. Oops, sorry. I totally cut you off, Vibe Pup. Apologies. And we have, and we are, and we will, and we are raiding. There we go. Oh, thank you. All right. I'm going to just. All right. Okay, I got it. Okay, I got it. Hello. There we go. Okay.
I was like, how amazed that. Hello, how are you? Has life been? Yeah. So, for people who don't know, TechBanditry is David Hewlett. Let me show you. Okay, hold on. So, if you guys don't know, TechBandit is this guy. Let's see. They could be. Oh, I saw you're on Clarice, right? I haven't seen Clarice yet, but yeah. But older looking. Okay. Yeah. Hello. Okay. So let me show you guys a little bit. Clarice is very creepy. Okay. What happens is they recently uploaded. They recently had a big update. But for those of you guys, that's okay. You're a very nice person. That's good enough. Yeah, for those of you guys who are kind of new to this game, you can download the save file that I made. Like, I made the save file publicly available. Open image in a new tab. Let me see if I can see this. Yeah. Okay, let's try this. Open image in new tab, so you can kind of see like everything. This is the save file. This is Stargate Atlantis. Yes, you made the files available. Yeah. I want to do this. I want to make this. I want to make this accessible. Like, I personally grew up extremely poor, so I did not like it when there was like, monetary obstacles. So I want to do this so that it's just free, like, charging money. So I can show you guys a little bit to this place, to this thingamabobber. Okay, let's go upstairs. So a little bit about what's happening right here is that we are actually underneath the map. I don't know how many of you guys here know about the game Diablo 2. Okay, so the Diablo game series, the Underworld. Yeah, so we're Underworld. This is in hell, like literally in hell, and we're making what's called the Chaos Sanctuary. So this is from like a horror action adventure game known as Diablo 2. So let me see if I can show you. So Diablo 2. Diablo 2 is this action horror. Yeah, it's really cool. So this place is like a boss place. Like you're in hell. Outside is what's known as the River of Flame, and then here's like the main boss. You can see like the Diablo himself, like scary big guy. And then like you have to go around fighting Diablo's champions. And once you defeat Diablo's champions, you get to fight the main boss himself. And I can't quite show it to you because we don't have fly mode anymore. But this is going to be the Chaos Sanctuary. It's underground. So think Pluto, right? And now we have plutonium processing. So underneath Pluto underworld, plutonium factory. Okay, how am I going to do the lava? I have some ideas. They recently added lighting to this game. Let me see if I can pull this over here. Okay, so like this is kind of a mess, but right now let's do this. Organization, floodlight tower.
Hey,
Okay, so lighting. Wait, I can do lighting here.
girl, how'd you get in?
And then let's turn the fog back on. And then like you can have a whole bunch of these things. Like we can have like dark red colors, a mixture of colors, and we have so you can see here, the light does change. I can paint these guys. So I can paint each one of these things. There's more lights, like, you know, there's this guy. There's a whole bunch of different lighting schemes that I can go for. So yeah, so as you can see here, down here it's really spooky now. And then only the lights will kind of penetrate through. So one of the things I could do is, okay, let me see if I can do this. So ceiling lights. Okay, so I can go underneath this guy, put some ceiling lights down here. It's not going to be the correct color. You need to like set up a few more things, but you can kind of get the idea. So yeah, so I'm still setting up the other stuff. Yeah, this is not quite the right idea, but you can kind of see, like, you can just play around with this thing, move this. So imagine if I move this down a few blocks, right? Like, so lots of different lighting effects. So I haven't fully explored the range of possibilities that I can use as lighting effects. Wait, what? This guy. Okay, power on. Try this again. Okay, so you see, depending on proximity to this guy, that would be kind of fun. How long do I spend on this game per day? I just kind of stream it, so like a few hours. So you can see how many hours I put into this thing. So basically, ever since coronavirus hit, I've been just stuck at home and not doing much. So this is what happened. This is how much hours I spent in the game since coronavirus.
Stay a while.
This is how much I've spent. Yeah. So I spent that much going in the coronavirus. Okay, let me show you guys the tour the tour de force. I don't know if that's the correct thingamabobber, the correct name. Let's go up to Atlantis. So Atlantis home. Yeah. So yeah, I spend about 3 to 4 hours a day just playing this game. It's very nice. I was thinking about one of the things is, like, for example, if you think about people who are on the autism spectrum, there's a lot of like neurodiversity. So for me, I find the act of clicking again and again, like to be very, very therapeutic for me. Like, you know, thinking about, like, you know, clicking as the repetitive motion. So I just, like, I find that if I'm just here and I'm just clicking, you know, laying foundations, then I actually feel better. Yeah. So I actually feel better. Okay, so we're now leaving the underworld. We're gonna head back out. Oh, music is off. Okay, let me go back to the music. Power shut off. Yeah. Okay, we're back to the music. So as you can see, they're going to they're going to add more water effects to the game. So this is going to be kind of pretty, even more pretty than it is right now. Okay, so now we're going to head up into the canyon area. Like I've been doing, yeah, as far as the spookiness, yes. You just see now. Oh, hello, yes, hello, yes. Yeah. Okay. How are you liking? I really like it. There's a lot of bugs because they released it. There's a lot of things that are really kind of a little bit weird, but the content itself is good. So like, assuming all the bugs are going to be fixed in the next few weeks, hopefully it'll be good. So this game is called Satisfactory. So it's as it's spelled. It's so it's the goal of the game is to build a factory, right? Like, so you're in this very, very picturesque place. Oh, that's the Empire State Building, by the way. I built that. So you can build things block by block. So that's right. So things like that. I built the Empire State Building. I'm going to build the Chrysler Building. Other skyscrapers, like that's going to be Project Manhattan as opposed to the Manhattan Project, right? You know, Manhattan Project being the thingamabobber, the one that involves nuclear bombs, but this one's just going to be Project Manhattan, the one that doesn't involve nuclear bombs. So yeah, so you can, this place is about 8 kilometers by 8 kilometers long, so it's just enough space for Stargate Atlantis! Yeah, so I built this by hand, by looking at pictures of Stargate Atlantis. So I looked at different pictures of Stargate Atlantis, and I just kind of made a